Peace, family. What's up? It's your brother, Mr. Holipsism. Today, and this is going to be interesting. We got an open Q&A. That's what we doing today. This is a suggestion of Brother Yamoja, and basically, I'm just opening up the floor for questions. Any questions related, needing clarity related to the BAIO Principles of Land, Infrastructure, Nationhood, and a complete socio-economic and political control over our collective context. Some people might have some questions. I'm going to do as best as I can to answer them. Um, I'm by myself. No one's with me. So this might be disastrous. But I'm here. So peace, spirit lifters. Peace, Madi. I hope I said it right. Um, let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for some questions from either the chat room, or if you are interested in jumping in with me, I'll send you the link and we can have a conversation. Hey, I did something right. So yeah, this is just an aside until somebody calls, but I just wanted to. I saw the Eternals. Um, was it Friday? Yeah, Friday. And I swear, it's almost as if there must be like different versions of this movie showing in theaters because I've never seen a movie so divisive in terms of opinion. I mean, I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed the movie. Um, it wasn't my favorite Marvel film, but it's like in the tradition of Marvel. I mean, it was a solid film. I mean, it's enjoyable. I went to see it, enjoyed it while I was there, enjoyed the storyline, enjoyed the plot twist and everything. I mean, I don't know what people are expecting. I think people have been just spoiled by Marvel. So if Marvel doesn't come out and get a 10 in every movie, then it's like a disappointment. Like I hear people saying, "Oh, this is the worst Marvel movie ever." I'm like, "What? How could you possibly make that statement?" So this movie wasn't better than Black Widow? And I'm not saying Black Widow was bad, but I mean, come on. I just find it interesting. It's like wildly different takes on this movie. I personally liked it. I thought it was worth checking out. Like I said, the audience that I was with seemed to enjoy it. They thought it was, enjoyable. They thought it was funny. And then you got some people that said this is the worst thing they ever saw. Is horrible, and I'm like, whoa, what did y'all see? But anyway, um, Spirit Lifters is asking, please talk about the origins of the BAIO. How did it come about and when? All right, that's interesting. And actually, I've talked about this in our private chats on Sunday Discord, but I'll speak about it openly. Initially, if you can believe this, the BAIO started out as a community activist kind of organization. It was like um, the original people involved, the origin of the BIO literally took place in a McDonald's on Fulton Avenue in Bed-Stuy. It was me. It was my brother Dev who passed. You all might remember him, Big Dev. It was my brother Mac 611, um, a brother named Timothy Ford, and two other brothers who have long since dropped out. Like I can't even. I think what brothers. One brother's name was Omar, and the other brother's name I can't remember. And what the purpose of it was police brutality was going on, and it was basically going to start out as a community watch thing. That was the initial origin of the BAIO. And what happened was, as we started doing more and more research and doing more about solution oriented things about what we can actually do to solve the problem that we have here in America, we started reading more and getting more into international things like what's going on overseas, what's going on in Africa, and like I said, I was introducing my experience or my knowledge of Amos Wilson and the slave theater and Alton Maddox and John Henry Clark and all of these people, and I was leaning more toward the international aspects of it. And that's when I started talking about nationhood. And I started talking about nationhood online. Now, the other members, me and Dev went the nationhood route, the land infrastructure nationhood route. Timothy Ford and the other brothers were still stuck in the activist paradigm. Like they still were thinking that this was about protesting and holding people accountable and all this other, the typical activism stuff. And we kind of just grew apart. And I remember things came to a head in Atlanta when Tim came to one of the BAIO meetups. I'm skipping ahead, way ahead, but I'm just showing you how he eventually just stopped. We just stopped dealing with each other at that point, because he went to one of the meetings in Atlanta and kind of like just showed out a little, and I got pissed off because I was like, you know, I can understand if you don't agree with something, but why are you going to come and try to dog what we're doing? Especially when you have other people around that's interested in it. So it's like we just went our separate ways. I still love Tim. Tim is a good brother overall. I mean, I knew Tim when I was going to the slave theater, so I'll never have any hatred for him. That's my brother. But sometimes when it comes to family, you go separate ways. I mean, if y'all remember my nephew, Mr. Ambassador Sar, um, he is not really like me and him kind of went our separate ways when it came to the nationhood thing. And a lot of people left me and a lot of people not messing with the BIO because we took the nationhood route. A lot of people are still stuck in this activist paradigm, this protesting and picketing and then other people is set up in this we can do it right here paradigm. And oh, I see you, Jabari. Just give me a second. I just want to get into this question that she asked. And we suffered a lot of pushback from the conscious community when we decided to be solution oriented. I'll just put it like that. But yeah, the origin of the BAIO started out as a community activist, public like community watch program. That's what the idea was. But what happened was my issue with with it, not initially, because initially I thought it was a good idea, but after thinking about it and really going through it, I was like, the problem with that is that there's no financing. Like you can't expect people to do this stuff for free. Like if people are going to take time out of their life to do volunteer work to do a community watch, like how are those people going to eat? What are those people? I mean, that's something that you have to do. You have to be concerned with financing. And because the Jews and that's what it was based on. Like the Jews in Crown Heights have their own police cars, they have their own EMS trucks, but those people in the community pay those people. They pay to have those little internal organizations in the community. So like the cops don't really patrol the Jewish communities because they could patrol themselves. And we were thinking something like that, but totally dismissing everything that it takes to get that. And once I start getting into the nuts and bolts of what it takes to actually do something like that, then that's when everybody, went their separate ways. So that was the initial beginnings of the BAIO. Let me bring in Brother Jabari. What's up, bro?
Hello.
Hey, I didn't think you were gonna make it. I thought you were busy doing something.
I was just gonna be on mute for like a couple more minutes, then after a couple more minutes, I'll be really going down.
Okay, okay, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I was able.
Just let me know. Just take yourself off mute when you're ready to come in. All right. What was the next question? Da, 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 da. Holla, what do you think about Liberia easing their dual citizenship restrictions? I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not read up anything about that. I've been so busy doing other stuff, and I saw that Jabari had did a video about it. I haven't even been able to see the video, to be honest with you. So I don't know, and I'll give him an opportunity to come in and address that when when he gets off of mute. Peace fly guy, by the way. Um, let's see who's next. Peace, Kevin Kant. Peace Flames 2.0. Would you be willing to collaborate with other non-black nationalist groups in the U.S. to try to achieve nationhood on U.S. soil? For example, Native American nationalists and Native Hawaiian nationalists. Try to achieve nationhood on U.S. soil? No, is the short answer, because we're not trying to achieve nationhood on U.S. soil. We're trying to um, we're trying to get our own nation up to speed in Liberia. That's what the focus is on. Focus on Liberia, basically. Um, Other non-black nationalist groups. It depends on also what you mean by collaborate. How would how would we collaborate with other non-black nationalist groups when it comes to Liberia? I'm interested to see what you feel about that, or like what you have to say about that, so I can, get deeper into it. But just on the surface, based on the question that you asked, I would say no, because that's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to achieve nationhood on U.S. soil. If anything, once things are properly functioning, we'll have a satellite nation on U.S. soil, but our base of operations will not be on U.S. soil. That's as crazy as thinking that you're going to fight um, Skynet. You're going to build a resistance against Skynet inside of Skynet. It doesn't make any sense. Brother Yamoja, let me bring you in. How you doing, fam?
I'm doing good, man. Good to hear you. Peace,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad I didn't get thrown to the wolves today. Cause like, what the hell am I gonna do? Let's see.
Well, I wish we would have had more time to like prep the people, like share the video, you know what I'm saying, for a few
Yeah,
days in advance so people could have really been like, yeah, I got some questions for these dudes, right?
yeah,
Like, but we could do another one though. It's always a good time for a Q&A because I know some people probably got questions like, a question that we might seem crazy, like what about collaborating with other races for nationhood? Sounds insane to us, but some people really probably be thinking like that. They don't know everything that we about, you know.
yeah. Cause I think that's what it is. Just make clarifying things. Cause we don't want nationhood in U.S. on U.S. soil. That's ridiculous.
Well, I think
That, that-
too though, we do our videos, excuse me, Big Bro. We do
mhm.
our videos and we do our lives and stuff, and we been talking about the stuff we've been talking about for years now, even, so we so used to a certain flow that some people really probably aren't up to speed with everything that we even talking about, right? Like some of this stuff is so old for us. So I think revisiting some things every now and then, help the people get it so they actually
Mhm.
get it and not just have that resistance or just trying to follow something that they really don't know what it's about.
Yeah, so true. Flame
Yeah,
says
and
I
you got to
support the
factor
big.
in. Oh my bad. I
I'm
was gonna say the
sorry.
fact that we've almost doubled our subscribers. Like we went from like what was it, like 548 at the beginning of the year to like 810, and we're almost getting up to speed. So
Yeah, we almost hitting that sweet mark is 1,000. Because once we get to 1,000, that's like one of the benchmarks for YouTube in terms of opening up other things. Did you want to answer that question that he asked? I can go back about Liberia.
yeah, yeah, I can go back on that. I can elaborate on that. So
Can you say it on the
basic,
screen?
yes. So
Okay.
my thing about it, it's a good start because they're doing it, and like I said, I went into this in the video. You probably watched the video, but for those who didn't watch the video, go back on the video. But basically, it's a good step because it allows for what was once dual citizenship not allowed to now they can't strip you of your dual citizenship without due process. And now it's leading to the possibility of legalizing dual citizenship throughout, especially for African Americans, which was one of the reasons why they did this. Because, well, it was originally in 2019, but they're focusing on it now because as you're hosting the bicentennial, one of the things that you have to offer is citizenship. And that's why I sent in the group chat about the Al Jazeera video on what of the year diaspora and basically trying to get African Americans to come back and offering citizenship. But obviously, in order for that to happen, you got to ease dual citizenship. You have to allow for it to happen.
What exactly did they do? So in case people don't know.
So what they pretty much did was the Supreme Court nullified that, and this is right now. This is for natural born Liberians. It hasn't. This isn't going to affect for African Americans yet. Yet. Um, Zawadi talked about that a little bit. Talked about that when she was in Liberia and she was answering questions in the comments. She spoke about it a little bit. But basically, the Supreme Court nullified that you can't just strip somebody of their dual citizenship who is a Liberian citizen because the fact that they acquired another nationality. You would have to go through dual process and basically prove to them that this happened, and that's how they would be stripped of it. But as of right now, because a lot of that has not happened, Liberians who were Liberian citizens, even if they have another citizenship, are still Liberian citizens. Now, like I said, there is a little bit of a caveat to that because dual citizenship is not technically allowed per se constitutionally yet.
Hmm.
But for the moment, the Liberians who are citizens and then who went abroad and got dual citizenship with another country, they still are Liberian citizens because the Supreme Court and the judge would have to strip their citizenship through due process.
Okay. Okay. I hope that answers the question, Fly Guy.
Yeah, and he also put it in the um in
Yeah,
the
in the
YouTube
chat
chat.
room.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if y'all want to check out the video, it's there. Baruti, brother Baruti, one of our consistents. I love that brother. Um, Hollop, in the formation of the BAIO and its ideological splinterings, did the participants agree on Africa as a foundational focus, but disagree on how the nationhood would apply to the African American group? Um, the original participants, um, I would say they did not agree on Africa as a foundational focus. They were more of the nation within a nation thing, like, and which is understandable because in a conscious community, that's basically what it was. It's like at some point, I was a nation within a nation, dude.
I was the
At
same
some
way.
point, yeah, at some point, Minister Dawood was a nation within a nation, dude. I just think that the land infrastructure nationhood is the natural progression of that. It's almost like we thought that until we did our real research, and then we realized, oh, that's not going to work. From a logistic standpoint, it's just not going to work. And I believe that the Liberia, focus on Liberia, is a natural progression from land infrastructure nationhood. I mean, Jabari articulated the position so well that nobody had no choice but to agree with him. Because I was kind of like agnostic on Liberia because I didn't really look into it, and we were going into other things. Like the issue with the BAIO and the point of contention wasn't Liberia. It was the whole concept of land infrastructure and nationhood. That was sort of like sent through like an atomic bomb through the conscious community because it was so against the narrative of what they're talking about because it's solution oriented. It's like, all right, y'all keep complaining about this problem that we have here in America with this white man. Well, this seems like the solution to that problem: power, socioeconomic and political power. And the conscious community ain't talking about that.
ever.
They're just not. All they're talking about is religion. They're talking about history. They're talking about
That
scholarship. They're talking about all this other stuff, and then that bleeds off into the what I call the culture wars, where you start talking about gender issues and complexions and who's black and who's not, and who's biologically, and all of this nonsense. And then we
that
started talking about nationhood. We started talking about um, innovation in construction, how building roads is way more different now than it was back when they were even, building up Dubai. We started getting more into STEM. We started talking about the whole
Stuff
concept
that
of having a
matters.
piece, right? The whole concept of having a piece of territory that we control, rather than trying to fight for equality within somebody else's territory.
And
Who's that?
and
Somebody's gonna have to mute because I see any
Umoja.
I
background.
will. Hang on. Yeah, I went into the living room with all my babies.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, so that like I said, what Hollip said, that was me. I was the nation within a nation, and like I said, I've talked about this many times before. But for those who are unaware, when I was in high school, I was on integration. I was like Black folks should integrate and all that stuff. I wasn't too in depth with it. But then my sophomore year in high school came, and then I was like, okay, Black folks, and like I said, how I got to it before, and like I said, this was before who went off the rails. Okay, if you know who, like they know. But and how I found him down. It's a long story. It just happened. I just happened to meet him. I found him on YouTube. But I was on the nation within a nation. Hey, yo, Black folks should take over the South. These are the states that we should take over. And then it started realizing once I found out about Liberia and actually about studied about Liberia, I'm like, this just makes the most sense. Like we have a country, and I've been advocating for that since 2018 before Liberia was getting hot. I
Right.
was talking about this stuff years ago because it just made sense. Because just think about it from a logical standpoint. Let's say all Black people move to the South, but we just gonna use that hypothetically. Okay, what you say this is our nation. What you gonna do with the other minority groups now in the territory? What you gonna do with the white people, the Asian people, the Hispanic people? What you gonna move them out? Like 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 see, that's when it just doesn't make sense. And then here's the thing: you're taking over a couple of states, but then Florida is still part of the. So you're gonna cut half the U.S. off, and then Florida is still part of the U.S. So how are Floridians gonna get to it just doesn't make sense. And that's where I went from. Okay, rather than focusing on a nation within a nation, why not just go to the country that we literally founded and literally built and literally was one of the most successful countries in Africa in the 1970s before the coup d'etat? Why not just do that? And like I said, you know, people people were talking about, oh, well, this happened in Liberia. They don't know anything about Liberia. They don't. Because I've talked to Liberians who are we've had conversations with them. We've had them with organizations. We've been on Liberian shows. We've talked to. I've even had conversations with Liberians who are historians, like people who work in history. And one of them said, like, y'all's legit. Nobody's taking what we're saying as, oh, we're just playing. Like, no, Liberians who know the history and study see us as being legit.
Right. And here's something, I don't want to interrupt you, but here's something that I think people need to understand is that I find it interesting that we at one point we had a Liberia dude in the BAIO. Y'all remember who it was? I won't say their name. Not once did he present the position that Jabari did. Not once. Because y'all know me, I consider myself the most reasonable man in the cultural conscious community. I am so subject to logic and reason. If you come to me with an argument that makes sense, I will update my opinion on it and get with the program. I don't have a lot of ego in this thing. So when Jabari came and he introduced that, it was like, whoa, that makes perfect fucking sense. We're sitting up here trying to build a nation from scratch, which means that we have to, at some point, we have to deal with land ceded to us, and we got to cut some type of deal or whatever. And there's a lot of process to go through in order to do that. And we've always acknowledged that process. We never said that it was going to be easy. But when he introduced the concept, he said, well, wait a minute, why do that when we already have it? It was already established. All we have to do is get involved and get it up to speed. And it just made perfect sense. And this was introduced by somebody who's, I think, less than half of the dude's age that we had in the group. And he never, ever mentioned that. Never. So I never thought about it because it was never a topic of discussion amongst us. All we knew is that this dude knew about Liberia. He had a lot of knowledge of Liberia,
Right,
but he never
right.
was never able to utilize the knowledge and come up with a practical solution. And
I
Jabari
think
was
there.
able to do that. And how old are you?
I'm 22 right now.
See,
22
there's
years
a
old. And I think he did it. They introduced it when you was 21.
there's a there's a
I was in my 20. I was actually 20. Like I had just turned 20 when I was mentioning this because I was mentioning this 2 years ago. So this was when I was about 19, 20.
well,
So
there's a common denominator with many of us. You know, I don't communicate with all of us in the BIO, but many of us, especially the ones who are active, there's one common denominator between us all. And that's being forward thinkers and progressive thinkers, and not in a
Exactly.
liberal conservative, like every single one of us. Just like you can hear all of our stories and it's so similar. Like most of us, myself included, like once consciousness happened, it was like, all right, I really want to do something for black people. We wanted them black people who like, you know, hear the gospel and want to share the gospel and bring people together, doing community groups, activism, down for all of it. And then we start seeing, all right, what's the solution? Like we've been doing this for a while. And I remember when I had my aha moment, it was before I even knew the BIO existed. We was doing a community meeting, and it was this elderly sister, and she was almost in tears. She was so happy that it was like a bunch of young people and middle-aged people and community getting together. But I can't remember exactly what she said, but in my spirit something told me like I am not trying to be her age still doing it, because I like seen her. I like literally seen her life. Like, dog, she was actually here in the 50s, 60s, 70s when shit was really going down, and seeing this stuff. And here she is in her 60s or 70s, and still we sitting up here talking about the same stuff. Something's not right here. Like my
Right.
whole spirit was completely vexed. Like something is not right here, and I am not trying to be her. Not in a bad way, but just like I'm not trying to be her, and I'm not trying to have my kids be doing this same stuff when I'm her age. Like, no. And so I started spouting that power stuff. Like we need our own, we need to do ourselves. And then thinking progressively, thinking, having a vision, I was like, wait a minute, these people full of shit. They don't really want to do nothing. They so used and trained and socialized into this left, right, left, activist, poverty. We ain't got nothing. We need white people. And I'm like, this is not it, y'all. And I
Hmm.
always went back to that woman, like, I'm gonna be like her if I keep staying here doing this stuff. Because this is exactly what she was doing when she was my age and younger. Why would I keep on doing this? That's called stupid. Like my dad would say, they got a name for that, and it's called stupid. I'm not trying to be that. So I've slowly trickled out of there because I don't believe in being involved in something when there's no vision or going nowhere. And I don't know what I was listening to, but I end up coming across the BIO video, and everything that y'all was talking about was stuff that I either thought to myself or shared to the people. and was told that I was crazy and that I was too black and that I needed to calm down and everything else. And slowly but surely, I found my way into the BAIO, and it was like, it was literally speaking the language that I was born with or something like that. And I finally understood, like I could talk to people who spoke the same language as me. Like I was in a lost village for years, and then finally found the people who actually speaks my native language. And then and like you said, we just kept going. Y'all went to Rwanda like the first year that I came. Um, and I was like, see, they actually doing something. They're not just sitting up here talking till infinity about something. They actually trying to do something and figure it out. And then once Liberia was mentioned, it was like, there it is there. Because that was always the main question, like, where the land at? What we gonna do with that? And yada yada yada. And Liberia is like, wait, we already got it there, and here we are here. But yeah, it's just really fascinating how we'll stay stuck on getting on catching a beat down, catching hell, and instead of seeing, like one of my favorite things when I first came in was, what's the end game? And I start asking people around and always got a stone face, like, all right, well, whatever you're doing, whoever you with, whether it's the nation, whether it's the Israelites, whether it's just your local community group, what is the end game? Like, what is y'all trying to accomplish? Like straight up. And it was, most of the time it was some BS. It was some like activism stuff that was no solution. It was just doing this just in perpetuity. That was usually what the solution was. It wasn't getting power for yourself and doing for yourself. It was like, let's just see how close we can get to white people and see how much we can get them to be nicer to us. Like when they shouldn't even be the focus. It's like, what are we gonna do? Anyway,
Right.
off my soapbox.
Nah, you were cooking. You were
Yeah, I'm about to
cooking.
say, and let me add to your point, Umoja. They did a research report, and we obviously know this, but racism leads to suicidal thoughts in black adults and black children. And at that point, I was just like, I don't want to hear it, because it's like, we've known this. It's like it's like you're repeating something that you already know. It's like saying 2 + 2 is 4. 2 + 2, we know 2 + 2 is 4. You ain't got to keep reminding us that 2 + 2 is 4. We know 2 + 2 is 4. We know that racism and racial microaggressions lead to um anxiety, to PTSD, and to suicidal thoughts. So if you know this, why do you keep, like Umoja says, subjecting yourself to this? But also, why do you want to stay in a country that doesn't value you? If somebody shows you that they don't appreciate you, you don't sit there and try to prove to them just how much value you provide for them, because that's called being exploitative. They're gonna exploit you till as much as you can get. Then once you're no good, we've seen it before. They discard you. If you really valued yourself as a not only a black person, but just as a person in general, if you truly valued yourself, you would get up and leave and say, I'm leaving. I'm not staying in this relationship. I'm not staying at this job. This job is toxic. This job is making me feel miserable. This job is not allowing me to be a productive employee. I'm not getting the most knowledge I can get out of it. It's time for me to go.
Yep. And apparently you have a peer, because Flames 2.0 says he's 22 as well. And he says, thank you for coming up with the idea of Liberia.
I feel like it's so sad. If y'all seen in the group chat what the videos were, they were talking about Liberia tearing down its historical monument. And I got really upset about that, because it shows, number one, that Liberians and African Americans don't really care about their history. They like pseudo history. And there's one person who has a YouTube channel. We all know who he is. But basically, he was talking about, why do Black Americans spend so much time going to Egypt rather than going to Ghana or going to Nigeria? And that really spoke to me, because it's like, there's nothing wrong with you claiming Egypt or ancient Egypt, but here's the problem. We are descendants of West and Central Africans and Spartan Southeastern Africans. That's who we are. We are Central and Western Africans primarily. Why don't you claim the ancient Western and Central African kingdom? Why do we focus so much on Egypt, or even to a certain extent Ethiopia, rather than focusing on ancient Nook or the Mali Empire or the Songhai Empire or the Ashanti Empire or the Wassalau Empire. And that's how I see it with Liberia destroying its history. We focus so much on this pseudo stuff rather than focusing on who we really are. If you say we're African American or that the other two terms, Liberia was founded by your people. It's who you are. That country is who we are. Okay, let's stop pretending like, oh, they're Liberians. No, they come from your lineage. You keep saying lineage. Lineage is irrespective of where you are. That is who you are. So instead of trying to claim something that isn't yours, why don't you claim Liberia and claim Liberian Kingdom? Why don't you claim the Biscript? Why don't you claim the Kingdom of Koya? Why don't you claim the Wassalan Empire? And that's what's led to this whole situation. And like you said, Holla, in the conscious community, focusing on civilizations that are irrelevant to us. Irrelevant.
Yep. And on that, I'll put a bumper on what you just said. I just put a link into the chat group. Click on that link, y'all. And while you click on it, I'll say this. This is what it says on the link. I would rather have a country run like hell by Filipinos than a country run like heaven by the Americans. Because however bad a Filipino government might be, we can always change it. And that's exactly how we feel about Liberia. So don't come to us saying, well, Liberia this, Liberia that. We already know everything we need to know about what's going on in Liberia. Trust me, we do not have rose-colored eyeglasses on. We know exactly what's going on and we know what our issues and our problems are. But it's ours.
Well, and that's you making up a point that you are making without really making it, is that it's like when it comes to this, we really don't want to do any hard work for nothing, man. And that's
Hmm.
actually part of having power, is actually sitting down and saying this is worth it, seeing your future generation, seeing how it's going to benefit them, and saying no, we're going to sit up here and do the hard work and the heavy pushing because it's going to be worth it. Just like building a building, man. You think people like just going around digging ditches so that people could put pipes under the ground and everything else? But then when you every time you drive back by that building, you know what you feel? You feel proud and say, I built that. Look at that beautiful building when it's finished. But when you doing it, when you carrying around boards and carrying around wires and stuff, that's not fun. But when it's finished, when you flip the switch and then lights actually come on, that shit feels incredible. We don't want to
Hmm.
do none of that, man. We wanted to literally, people will say, I'm not visiting Africa unless I got super hi-fi, Wi-Fi speed. They gotta have a McDonald's, they gotta have a mall where I can get some J's at and everything. It's like, bro, why don't you go and help build it though?
Hmm.
It's just crazy how it seems like we are not interested in working hard to have our own. We'll work hard to keep somebody else afloat though. We'll work hard to get a paycheck. But when it comes to building our own, we do not want to really work for it. Not entirely, man. And it's really, really annoying and sad.
Well, it's like I think that, like you said, most of the time people have a music video version of what they think success is. And they always leave out all the important stuff. Like take for instance, like in DC Comics, Wonder Woman comes from Amazonia. I think that's the name of the thing, where it's a society run by women. And that sounds great, right? On paper, it sounds great. Visually, it sounds great because you got all these women, and what do? They're all warriors and they're all fighting. Who does the plumbing in Amazonia? Who does the construction?
Exactly.
Who does
Exactly.
who does who does who the waste management system in Amazonia? Is everybody just a warrior?
Well, and you made a good example by using a music video, because you have all these people aspiring to be like, let's say the artist, the the musician, but it's like you understand that there's an engineer who like helps with production. You know what I mean? You understand
Right.
somebody had to build the mixers and the soundboards and everything else. Like you just don't come in. The rapper don't do everything, man. So you need all of that stuff. And then if you look at videos being made and everything else, who do you see being at the engineer's table most of the time? A fucking white person. because they
Mhm.
know that they're gonna get a whole lot of money making sounds for these rappers. It's
And
it's
and
it's
and
it's
to
a
add,
cold game, man. It's a
and
cold game.
to and to add to your point, I was watching a video yesterday that was really powerful. The video was called "Does Power Corrupt or Do Corrupt People Seek Power?" It's kind of a mix of both, depending on how you look at it. But one of the things that was interesting about it was he said that when they found out that a civil servant's job was corrupt or like it's known to have corruption, it attracted corrupt people. Why? You designed that system to be that way. It's the
Mm.
same thing with policing. They were talking about how in New Zealand, when they portrayed policing as community oriented, not too aggressive, not hyper militarized, there was less abuse. Police were less trigger happy, and there were only about 12, a dozen deaths the entire decade. Because when you design something and we design it, it allows for us to create the people that we want to have. You can't get mad at buck dancing, shucking and jiving black folks when the system was built or designed for shucking and jiving
The
black folks
Negro
to come.
manufacturing machine. You're describing it exactly. It's a Negro manufacturing machine that manufactures Negroes exponentially like gremlins. So why is everybody shocked when a Negro manufacturing machine manufactures Negroes? Why are you shocked? Our system is designed to give exactly what it's giving. And if we want to produce something different, then we got to design a different system.
Man, y'all hitting so many nails on the head, and what it makes me think too is back to the blueprint for Black Power and Amos Wilson. Like, it's one thing that I don't think we realize. Like, we like on a mass level, we like talk about how bad the system is and how corrupt it is, which it very much is. But I don't think we understand how organized these bastards are. I'm talking about from the think tanks to the special groups to the lobbyists to the secret groups that they have in behind doors to the presidency. Like, these people are ultra organized. I'm talking about they have some of the best thinkers, some of the best people in academia coming in to do social experiences, excuse me, social experiments and things of that nature. While we sitting up here trying to wonder if it's good for us to have a nation within a nation or to have nationhood outside of America. Like, these folks is not playing about their organization, and that's where we lacking at. And I think we like sleep a lot on that fact, and mostly because I say that to like press the point that America is not the spot. Like, I believe that these people will push the button before they say, yep, the darkies could have some kind of power. Like, that's, yeah, America is not the spot. They got this kind of sold up, fellas, like straight up.
And the reason why they have this power and this organization is because they have territory and they have socioeconomic and political control over that piece of territory.
All the territory.
Right.
And,
So
and,
And you
organization comes with that.
and you
hmm
can see it. And you can see it. Here's an example. They'll let these athletes get millions of dollars, but once a brother try to buy a network, oh no, nigga. They'll let these rappers get all the money, but once it was Ice Cube and somebody else, they like tried to buy like some kind of cable channel. Oh no, man, you can get this money and you can spend it here on America, but if you want any kind of semblance of power, no sir, no sir, you will not, you will
speaking of
not.
which, speaking about this, let's look at two groups of people: Cuban Americans and American Jews. Right? There's tensions between American Jews and Israeli Jews because, of course, yeah, between American Jews and Israeli Jews, right? That those tensions are not just there because, well, there's just this friction. It's friction there because context and reality. American Jews who were born and raised in America, their context is America, an American, so they think American like. Okay. Whereas if you are a Israeli Jew and you grew up in Israel, your social context and reality is fundamentally different. So therefore, what you prioritize is different than what American Jews prioritize. And that's what we're talking about with systems. Okay, you're mad that black folks who are at the top are not giving us power. But we've known that the system puts people on the top who are knowingly not a threat to the system. We know this. They did an experiment with this in Italy. You could have literally two, the same company with two different branches. One was in an area less corrupt, and one was in an area more corrupt. The minute the bankers from the less corrupt area moved to the more corrupt area, they instantly started becoming corrupt, instantly started embezzling, instantly started bribing, because the system there that's in that region is meant to manufacture people who are corrupt. Corrupt people are either are attracted there or they become corrupt. Same thing when we talk about American Jews and Israeli Jews or Cuban Americans and regular Cubans. Your context and the system that you were built in makes a huge factor in how you're socialized. That's why
Yep.
Holland keeps saying socio-economic and political control over your reality. Because if you don't control that, then guess what? You're gonna have situations where people don't advocate for you. Because guess what? That's not what it was designed. And therefore, the people who you want get weeded out.
Yep. I mean, didn't they have a study showing that in America, the vast majority of people want a policy, the vast amount of American people could want a policy, but that is not reflected in their elected officials. So if 90% or 80% or whatever want a Medicare for all single payer system, how come that system hasn't been implemented? I mean, the majority of people want it, right? This is supposed to be a democracy because it's not really a democracy.
That
And
was not what it was designed for. It was
Yeah, exactly.
America
That
historically was a country when they first allowed people to vote. It was people who were landowners. You had to be a landowner, a person with property rights to vote. So, can we be upset that in today it's the people who own capital and own the means of production that get the most say? Can we really be mad?
and that's but and that's one of those things where the voting thing killed me. It's like we know, but again, we've been socialized to every 4 years to be uber political and uber Democrat, right? And every 4 years we'll talk, but then like right now, and I'm so divorced from it that I don't even do it now. I don't even troll people now. But you don't hear none of the same people who be telling you to vote every 4 years. You don't hear them talking about what's going on right now with the Democrats in office and how you still ain't got nothing. But every time it's something political, we the first one to put on them damn marching boots and say yay for DACA, yay for LGBTQ, right? Yay for Native American, yay for this, yay for this. We need to stand with everybody when no one is there for us. It is so frustrating. Oh my goodness, it is so frustrating. Straight up, we love activism. We love all that stuff, man. But yeah, yeah.
Like I said, when you create the system, you can't get mad. You can't get mad. It's the same way, like I said, with Cuban Americans. Cuban Americans came from a different system. Can you really be mad that Cuban Americans think of Cuba the way that they do? No. Same thing. Israeli Jews who were born and raised in Israel have different needs and different focuses since they live in Israel that borders Palestine, Lebanon, Egypt, Jordan. Can you get mad that Israeli Jews have a different perspective than American Jews who were born and raised in America? Yes, they care about Israel. Yes, they believe in Zionism. Yes, they support there should be a homeland for the Jewish people. But there's conflict between American Jews and Israeli Jews because the context in which they grew up is different. The culture that they grew up is different. It's not the same. And notice this. An example of this: American Jews, by and large, tend to be more liberal, less orthodox, and they tend to be more, if you were to put political party, almost they vote Democrat about the same rate as African Americans, American Jews. Israeli Jews are more orthodox, they're more religious, and they tend to be more right wing
Mm-hmm.
because the context that they grew up in is different. So the system that created those two, the system that created the right wing in Israel that's because it was designed that way. That's how the Israeli system is now created and designed. So you can't be mad, like I said, you can't be mad because it's how the system is designed.
Yeah. And another factor is um, the guy that the liberal gets their weed from is not conservative. Don't let's not eliminate that.
Mm.
The guy that they go to the concert with is not conservative. Their black friend ain't conservative. There's a lot of reasons why these white folks are liberal. I'll just say that. And and it ain't always about, the good fight. Um I was gonna say something. Like if you was to compare us to, like, if you the way that the BAIO is in its current form, I had made a video about this. I don't know whether I did it on my channel or on the BAIO channel, but I said black women and the BAIO have a lot in common because black women have been forced to take on the role of the head of the family and the breadwinner against their will. They don't want to do it, but they have to do it because if they don't, family's going to fall apart even worse than it's falling apart now. So they see that there's a void there, so they got to step up and do what they got to do. It's the same thing with the BAIO. We, as working class people who should be doing things for our own selves personally, are taking time out of our own personal lives to talk about land, infrastructure, nationhood, and trying to map out economic, socioeconomic, and political blueprint for the black nation while we're on our lunch break. Why are we doing this? We're doing this because we don't have no fucking leadership. We don't have anybody. And I ask this every week. Show me an organization, show me an individual, show me a black talking head where you can go to and the masses of our people are hearing about land, infrastructure, and nationhood. Show me where they're at if it's not the BAIO. Hell, you ain't even got to go mainstream. Show me in the conscious community who's talking about land, infrastructure, and nationhood. In the cultural conscious community, what groups are talking about us having a land and a nation of our own? Nobody but us in any real substantive way. Nobody. And if we had leadership that was actually on that page, and if we would do like, why is these people like Ice Cube and the rest? And I don't blame them. I'm not getting on their case, but I'm just saying, you actually have a country that you can put those resources into called Liberia, and you'd rather go and fight with this white man. Like people, people saying that the reason why Bill Cosby is in jail is because he tried to buy NBC. If you buy that conspiracy, well, if you believe that conspiracy, I'm not saying whether it's true or it's not, but if you believe in that conspiracy, why are you wasting your time trying to get shit in America? Bill Cosby could take those millions of dollars and go over to Liberia and build any school he wants. He can create any media corporation that he wants. What the fuck do you need NBC for?
And like I said, since you would be in a system that benefits you, you could create a media company and we can protect you because we run the government. So therefore, we control the reality and therefore we control who gets most of the viewership, who gets most of the shine, and who doesn't. We don't live in that. We're not in Liberia, we live in America, so we can't control that.
Mm-hmm. And Jose Braun says the Ledge Group LLC, and that's why the Ledge Group LLC is a part of the BAIO. I don't know if you know that, but the person who's ahead of that is in the BAIO. So we are attracted to people of like mind. If you're talking about us having some power, I can't see how you're not going to be connected to the BAIO. United States Atlantic Creole Nationalists. What is this? Call Congress support the United States Atlantic Creole Nation Lands Act. Anybody know anything about that? Because I don't.
If you're talking about calling
No,
Congress, let's not. That's the no, seriously though, because we keep falling into these things. There's a saying, and Amos Wilson actually said it. I don't know if this is verbatim, but he spoke about laws, and he said it in a snide way. He was like, laws are only as good as the people who can enforce them. Now we didn't witness the hundreds of instances where these people didn't change the laws for their benefit, that didn't give us the righteous laws for just because they wicked. But we believe that we can go to Congress and ask for something. We believe that we can vote in somebody who's going to do something for us. Like, stop it. It's not going to happen. It is one of the biggest pipe dreams and one of the biggest hustles in America that we can vote for something for our benefit. So when you say call your congressman, like, no, like, and I'm not talking to you, whoever asked the question. I'm not like coming down on you. I'm just saying, as a whole, like America in general, like even America, just white Americans, they don't give a damn about them, man. They have a plan and they hope that the people follow it. But if they don't, ultimately, they'll be like, nah, we cool. Just like Holub said, 80% of people could say we want a single payer health system, and they'll be like, nah, we cool. That ain't gonna work here. That's socialism. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Right.
yeah, ain't no Congress needs to be talked about. We need to have our own Congress. Oh wait, we do
Exactly.
have our own. We do have our own Congress. In Congress, the Black Caucus, the Black. I can't even think of the name. The Black Congress of Caucus,
Congressional.
the
or something.
Congressional
We
Black
have it.
Caucus.
They do nothing. They do absolutely nothing for us. So just stop it with talking about Congress. Like, that's not a. We need our own Congress. Now, let me get on mute because my kid's going crazy.
Yeah, you got a
Yeah,
full house there.
yeah. I was about to say, I was like, oh, but yeah, it's one of those things. Well, I'll let Hollop answer, and then I'll go.
Oh, you mean Baruti?
Yeah.
He says, Holloping, your comparative of the black woman and the BAIL. Can you explain why black men are oblivious to the notion that black women really don't want to be forced into a sole breadwinner role? Are they really though? Are they oblivious to it?
They don't care.
Yeah, I don't think that they're oblivious to anything. If they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing as men and being the breadwinners and taking the lead,
They don't even
then
have to be breadwinners. If you're not even trying to help to give her a hand, that's a problem. If you're doing your job and contributing and trying to develop and further advance your career, her career, and each other's interests, then the black women would be okay. It's the fact that black women see that black men are not doing that. They're not holding up their part. Hey, yo, black men, y'all want people to respect you, but you ain't protecting black women. And then you get upset when black women are like, well, nobody respects y'all. Well, y'all ain't protecting us. Y'all allow these people to run willy nilly. Or, hey, yo, black men, you say you know what, you tired, you done, but yet you still are going into this system and you're not saying, you know what, we've been treated this way enough. We out, deuces, peace.
and just to address that, that's a good question because it's a lot to unpack in just the question itself. But what I
Yeah.
will say is that I think that I can definitively make this statement that black women don't want to head the relationship. They don't want to be in control of the relationship. And I know that that goes contrary to what a lot of people are used to hearing, but I speak to black women. I'm not just making these statements and pulling it out of my ass. I speak to sisters. I have lots of black sisters and lots of black women that I'm in communication with. And the major running theme is how they're tired. They're tired of taking the lead. They're tired of doing everything. Why do you think if black women really want to be the head, why do you think you hear a lot of them, no matter how feminist they are, saying that they're not protected by black men? If they really wanted to be the head, they wouldn't even be requiring that. Take
I
some
don't even,
martial arts and protect yourself. Why are you expecting black men to protect you and at the same time you want to be in control of the relationship? Because they don't want to be in control of the relationship. They don't.
I would add that even if you my thing is like he's like, well, well, black women can handle themselves and they don't feel protected. It's like one of the things that black it's basic. It's basic. It's not even it's hard for people to understand. You're supposed to protect your women, and you're supposed to protect yourself. You're not supposed to allow anybody to just walk up on you and disrespect you and think that's okay. I'll never forget. It was there were black men who said to I think it was during a protest. They said, "You better not go past this line." The black women were literally at the front of the line, and the black men were behind. And the black man was like, "You better not break this chain." I'm sitting here like, well, they don't have to break the chain because they're in the front line. So how would we? Yeah, that is what it is.
Mm.
But
You
see,
wanna
no,
you wanna deal with that?
yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, I hope you saw it, but it's frustrating because it's like all of us won't go to Liberia, but here's the thing: you need a representative because guess what? Us having a nation state allows for us to speak on your behalf. It's one of the reasons why um other countries, other country groups have some sort of leverage because they have nation states to speak for them. Look at what happened in South Africa. I'll do an example in South Africa. When the South Africa riots were happening and Indian stores were being burnt, there was an envoy from the government of India like, "Yo, what's going on? Like, can you explain what's going on?" Okay, because we don't claim Liberia as our homeland or we don't have Liberia as our base of operations. When stuff happens to Black people, you're dependent on the fact that other people will have sympathy for you. Other people, you plead with other people. Versus if we had our own nation, which we have Liberia, we could go and say, "Hey, yo, America, well, what's going on? On behalf of the Liberian government, what's going on? You want these trade deals? Oh, you see China over there? You better get it together, or you will see your two adversaries here in a heartbeat." We don't have that leverage because we don't have a nation state that speaks on our behalf, or we don't claim it. This is a powerful statement. With Yuku, he said a powerful statement. If you can highlight it.
Is that it?
Yep. A lot of my peers stood against me when I told them in 2016 that we have no right to be upset at our women, no matter how crazy they might behave. It's been like 1,000 years straight of us losing wars. I would say the last 400, but still, that's honestly the truth.
And the reason why I made that comparison is because just like the black woman, we here at the BAIO um, are doing what we do because we're trying to get people of like mind together so we can attack this problem as a collective. And nobody's doing it, so we have to do it. When we get people that's on board with this thing, and when we get a nice groundswell of support, maybe we won't have to do as much. And it's just like the black woman. Maybe the black woman won't have to learn to take mixed martial arts to protect herself and her children because her man will take care of that for her.
They
Maybe
need
she
both.
can
They
do
need they all three of them need it. The man needs to be the top of it, but all three need it. Everybody needs it. But the man should be the first line.
right,
Everybody else, it should be you go first. Then if something happens, she has martial arts, so she knows how to defend herself, and so does the child. But you are supposed to be the top, like the front line, because you're seen as the strongest and seen as the most threatening. Because let's be real, we live in a patriarchal, misogynistic society. Okay, dudes attack women when they're alone, not when there's another man, because your presence there makes that man think twice.
right. Exactly. It's a lot of shit going through my mind. So I'm just trying to go through these
I know
points
there's
that
a
you
lot of.
guys are making. Um, Hollop, do black men blame black women in part for the inability to get ahead in the U.S. system because they, black men, are afraid to admit powerlessness under Mzungu and positionings of being under Mzungu's nuts? I think you just answered your own question. I don't even have to answer it. You answered it. Um, let's see. United States Atlantic Creole Nationalist says, I agree with the Liberia slash Sierra Leone initiative. We still must build a nation here, fam. Um, with all
Satellite
due
community.
respect, with all due
Satellite
respect,
community.
yeah, with all due respect, if you're trying to fight the AI computers, Skynet, you don't build your base of operations inside of Skynet. Tell me how that logistically makes any sense. But see what you're talking about is just you just gotta tweak the definition of what you're talking about. You're not talking about us having a nation here. You're talking about a satellite community, which is what basically the Jews have in America. They don't have their nation state. Israel is not in America. Am I wrong? I mean, I'm looking at maps. I don't think that Israel is inside of the United States of America.
Israel is not in America. Israel is not in Germany. Israel's in Israel. And where's Israel at? Come on now, y'all.
Let me take that one home. Let me take that home just a little bit. I don't
Hmm.
like it's so important to have what you would call a home. Notice that when black folks is getting killed by the police, no one is saying that. Like the entire world know that black people is treated like shit in America, right or wrong, like the world. Like they literally make
Right.
movies about it, and they make movies about it and get millions of dollars when we go pay to see our own ass whooping. Everybody knows, yet no one is coming to our rescue. Why? Because we don't have a nation of our own. No, like even the most poorest African country, at least you could say like, oh man, I'm Cameroonian, and we're not gonna bring back no reports of Cameroonians in mass being abused in America. You don't hear about it. You don't hear about in mass Ethiopians getting killed by the police and everything else in America. No, it is Black Americans, and the sad part is that we think that we're so American, but we're treated we're treated like third, fourth, fifth class citizens, but
Hmm.
we still claim that this is our home. If this is your home, if this is our home, then we are the most abused and most psychologically fucked people ever to remain here and say that this is ours. Like it's just as simple as that. And not have just imagine if we had somewhere where we could say, you know what, I'm going to Liberia, or I'm about to go and send this report to our nation and show how our people is being mistreated here. So we're not going to be trading our rubber with this country anymore,
Hmm.
right? We're not going to be making trade. Y'all can't use our seaports to come in for trades because y'all clearly don't respect us as a people. We have nothing. We have nowhere to go to. We have nowhere to go to as America crumbles. And it's really a cold situation that we take lightly, way too lightly for my liking.
And also, when a like when you have the army, right, or military, and they go to another country and they set up a base in that country, is the base that they set up their main base of operations? Like if the United States sets up a base in Iraq, is that the United States um main base of operations? Or is their main base of operations in the United States?
I just looked because I wasn't looking at the phone. I just looked at my guy or lady who's saying that we still must build a nation here, fam. And it makes my head want to explode. Let me explain to it like this. We have dozens and dozens of black organizations, like probably I I would dare to say hundreds of actual grassroots organizations that is not as popular as like Black Lives Matter or Hands Up, Don't Shoot. But on top of that, we have dozens upon dozens upon dozens of literally Black professional organizations. The Black Institute of Architects, the Black American Architects Institutes, and the Black Medical Examiners, like literally dozens upon dozens. And there is nothing collectively happening. Because why? Because we are socialized to just want to integrate with white America. We think that America is our nation, not we are separate from that. Let me explain that very clear, man. We are not looking to have a nation inside of the nation here. Like even the people who say that, because we're not acting like we do. Like we could say, we like to say stuff and make it seem like we talking all powerful, and that's deep. But the reality is that we do not want a nation within a nation, because if we did, we would have been had it. Let's be
We can
very clear.
do.
We would have been had it, man. There's militias, there's religious groups, there's professional groups, there's athletes, there's actors, bruh. In every branch of socialization in America, we have Black people, and we have Black people who are capable and competent. But there's no unity in it, and that's what you need to have a nation. You need agreements, you need partnerships, and we don't do that shit, man. We don't do that. It's as simple as that. So all that nation within the nation stuff sounds really good. It sounds so good. But how the hell we gonna have a nation within the nation when there's no actual nation away from the nation? Like all the Chinatowns and everything else around every major city, you have a Chinatown, a little Italy, a little Italy. You know why? Because they all have an actual nation. There's an actual China out of America. There's an actual Italy outside of America. There's an actual Jerusalem, Israel outside of America. For these people to have these little unions inside of America, we don't have that.
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry. I'm sorry.
satellite communities, the
And
satellite
to
communities.
and I want to address people's point. He says most Black people are integrational. They want to integrate into American society so badly that in essentially African Americans will be mixed white looking people like Latinos. Um, uh, it's just and he said that, you know, how will you make African Americans a satellite nation? Sadly, I predict African Americans will reject Liberia. I would say this. I say there are a lot of African Americans heading over to the continent. The biggest problem that we have is coordination. Like there has to be some sort of coordination. Like we can't be doing stuff
Oh my
separate entities.
God. Oh my God. Let me address this. I'm sorry, Marty, spirit lifters. I'm gonna get back to you, but I have to address this. Build a nation here first, correct. Do you not train soldiers for war before you send them to war? Do you not practice and train for a competition before you enter that competition? Am I insane, Jabari? Am I
That
insane? Because I want to ask you something.
that makes no sense.
What training are you doing inside of your enemy's land?
I have an
This
answer.
is this is
I have
insanity. Why are we
I
even
know.
talking about
Holla,
this?
holla, holla. Actually, there is an answer to that, sir. 500 years of abuse is training.
I
Decades,
wouldn't even
decades
say
and
that. I
decades and
wouldn't
decades. Hold on, 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 because he's trying to make a point, or she, and the point has already been made. Dozens and dozens of years of police brutality is training. Dozens and dozens of years of watching your leaders get assassinated is training. Dozens and dozens and hundreds of years of religiosity, praying to all kind of gods, all kind of allahs, is training. Seeing your people get mauled in the streets is training. Civil rights is training, bro. That's all we've been doing is training, getting our asses kicked, man. We have been training. We have the training. So what we waiting for? What we waiting for? We've been training a long time. What we waiting for? When is the war gonna actually start? Because it's just brutality happening. It's not a fight. It's not a fight here. Just to be very clear, it's not a
And
fight.
and,
There
and
is
my
no
thing
fighting
is
going down.
this. This is my thing. When are you guys gonna do this? Because I keep hearing you talking about, oh, we gotta train, we gotta do this. We can't go to Africa because we gotta do this first. When are you going to do it? Where's your institution where you're training these soldiers? Where is it? Does it exist?
And how are
Is it protected by a cloak of invisibility by Charles Xavier? Where the fuck is this place that y'all keep talking about?
and also here's another question. How are you going to train in your enemy's territory and they not catch you? Because I'm pretty sure there's intelligence
Jesus
going on saying we
Christ,
you need to
man.
like it don't make no sense. Like it don't make no sense. And also, how would you stop them from intervening? It's their country. Okay, you you just not.
Let me say this, Jabari, because I got to get this off my chest. If you have a nation within a nation inside of America, you're going to have your base of operations inside of America, right? So are you going to do trade, international trade with North Korea? And if you do a trade with North Korea, how's that going to go down logistically? Is North Korea going to come and fly their planes into US soil and land in an American airport? And then you're going to take your trucks from your nation within a nation, load the goods up on your truck, and ride down American roads and highways. What the hell is wrong with you people? Is anybody thinking, or we just talking? We just spewing shit out of our mouth? Is anybody thinking about how logistically this shit is supposed to happen? Where are you going to train your soldiers at? Where are
It
you going to
just
get your arms from?
it just sounds good, bro. Like for real, it just sounds and feel good. But I go back, I harken back on the fact. Y'all could look this up online. Just go state by a state, and a lot of them have websites, or you could look on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Do you know how many Black Panther, Black Power, RGB militia groups that there are in America, sirs and ma'ams? If we want to just talk about like paramilitary or something like that, right? There is so many. There's too many to count. There's too many to count. They like to get in their little suits. They like to march left, right, and scream Black Power. But whenever you hear some black person getting hurt, please somebody send me some kind of article about one of these people getting touched, a George Zimmerman or police getting touched. Just
Oh,
one.
oh,
I
oh,
just want
oh,
one.
oh,
I
oh,
just want one personally, like straight up. When
oh,
are they getting touched?
I have something important to say. I got something so important to say. With a nation within a nation, let me first of all, in order to have a nation within a nation, the U.S. has to recognize that you're a nation. If you're not recognized as a nation, then you're not a nation. Okay. And then also let's factor this in as well, right? What countries is gonna come to your defense? Let's be real. Because if you were if if let's say these militant integrationists took over 5 southern states, I just I'll take over in like a matter of weeks. Because first of all, here's the thing you ain't factored in. There are other groups of people living in those states. So all the U.S. government would really need to do is send in some troops and create instability in the state, and your state is collapsed within like what weeks? But like that doesn't hit you. But you think those people in those states who are non-black are just going to get up and say, "Yep, this is Black folks' nation." You think white Southerners are literally going to get up and leave?
Oh Lord have mercy. This is oh my God. I'm looking up the definition of logistics. Logistics is
What?
generally
Hold on. We need hold up. This man said you need America to recognize you as you.
forget that. Let's go back to what I was saying.
Oh,
Hey,
Logistics.
holla. I almost start
Logistics.
cracking up lying when you said, huh. I'm looking up the definition of logistics.
Yeah, I'm
I
looking
don't know
up
why that was so
logistics.
funny for me, man. I
I'm
love
looking
you
up
so
the
much, big bro.
definition of logistics. It says logistics is generally the detailed organization and implementation of a complex operation. In a general business sense, logistics is the management of the flow of things between the point of origin and the point of consumption to meet the requirements of customers or corporations. In a military sense, just apply that. Logistically, all they have to do to kill this so-called insurrection inside of America is blow the bridges, cut off the route supplies, and let you sit there and try to, work with the food that you got in your state. And like Jabari said, not only would you think that food is going to be divvied up evenly amongst black people, when you have other races of people and other groups in that state, if you don't understand, see, this is why I shouldn't get so upset, because it's almost like an electrician getting upset because of a conversation that they're having with a plumber about electricity. When you really think about it, why should we be upset when you have people that have no clue what a nation is, no clue what a military operation is, no clue what logistics are, no clue what a government is and what it does, no
Don't
clue.
no
They're
clue
just they're
what it.
just talking. I'm talking to people whose frame of reference is Marvel Comics.
They don't understand fiscal policy. They don't understand monetary policy, industrial policy, domestic policy, foreign policy, diplomacy. They don't understand, like, all this stuff goes into nationhood. Nationhood is not just two or three people and you or two or three things, like, you got a territory. No, it is diplomacy, all these different types of policies, trade, making sure you maintain stability, like it's all encompassing.
Man, they think that nationhood is literally putting on some motorcycle jackets with matching logos. That's what they think a nation is. These people don't have a clue. And then now do you understand why we get so frustrated? Because why I have to sit here and try to explain shit about something that I shouldn't even be fucking with to begin with. I should not have as much information in my head as I do regarding this process. Same thing with Jabari. We got so much goddamn information because we got to overstudy and overanalyze this stuff. We got to know what the fuck we're talking about to just transmit what we're trying to say. And just this mere concept of land infrastructure nationhood. We got to be a jack of all trades because we have no leadership. We have no intelligentsia. There's nobody talking about us establishing a power base. Nobody. So us working class people have to bang the drum because nobody else is doing it. But there's people that ain't even sharing this video. We have so much powerful content on this channel that should be passed around. But people are more interested in the vaccine debate. That's more of a hot topic right now than nationhood. I swear, man, because there's no way. Like, and the reason why I'm getting this way, because the brother's saying what he said. Hold on. You're not even hearing people out. You jump into judgment, showing you don't understand matters of nationhood. No, it's the exact opposite. You don't understand matters of nationhood. Because if you understood what nationhood was, you wouldn't make the statements that you're making. The statements that you're making, with all due respect, are fucking ridiculous.
And here's the thing: we are willing to listen. Nobody here in the BL, we like Hollis said, he's a rational mind. I'm willing to listen, but here's the thing that you have to understand whenever you're making a case or argument. Number one, your argument has to make sense and it's got to be coherent. And then when we ask you these questions, you need to answer these questions, right? So, for example, when you make the claim, well, all African Americans are ain't gonna go to Liberia. Who said all? You're making
Right.
a hastily generalization. So right there, you literally are creating a straw man's argument because we never said all African Americans are going to go to Liberia. We never said that. Just like all Cubans are not in Cuba, not all Israelis or Jews are in Israel. They're not. So we need to stop with this hastily generalizations and making these, quick, I'll say quick conclusions rather than thinking it out. We're saying, listen, you want a nation within a nation, what they claim. But have you factored in every possible scenario? That's the thing we're thinking about. Because okay, we living in Liberia. Okay, Liberia Liberia is closer to Russia than it's closer to the United States. Okay, if you actually look at the territory, Moscow is closer to Liberia than DC is, literally. So look at it geographically. Okay, let's even say I'm gonna give the most doomsday scenario. Let's say that this happens to Liberia. We always can go to the neighboring African country. We can always do that. We can always go into neighboring African countries. That's what we're saying. You're not thinking from all of those lenses. What happens if this happens? What happens when this happens? Have you factored in these other groups? Have you factored in the political landscape? Have you factored in where it's going to be located and how that's going to affect things? That's what we're saying. We're not saying we're not willing to listen, but you have to look at everything from a complete picture.
Let me say this real quick to everybody listening or whoever here it is. I want y'all to understand that we're not trying to have like an isolated BIO land. Like this is something that we actually want to do for Black people, like all of y'all. Even if you have no interest in it, wouldn't it be nice to be able to walk around with your chest out, proud, saying I know? But some of our people actually got in building over in Liberia. Like all of our people ain't just gangsters and thugs are just out here running the streets, are just quote unquote hotep niggas. Some of us are actually doing something. Wouldn't it be nice to, if shit really hit the fan here, you can get up with your kids and your family or your loved ones and say, yo, we got a spot in Liberia, man. And wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice that if shit hit the fan, you literally don't have to worry about it? Because guess what? Black Africans from America and the diaspora are in control there. So if it does hit the fan, there's not going to be no, you're not African. You're not this. You got to have a visa. No, you just come and we got you. Wouldn't that be nice? Like, this is what we're talking about, us having some semblance of actual power. What are you so against it? How can you be against that? Like, straight up, how does that not sound attractive as hell to you? Unless you just don't give a fuck. And that's fine too. I just don't want to talk to you. Straight up. And if you against that, what I just said, if you against that, then you are completely full of shit. Like straight up. Because that is exactly what we're talking about. This isn't the BIO show and we just want to talk about and we just do for us. No, we literally thinking about your Black ass and your Black ass's kids and your Black ass's kids. That's where we coming from, y'all. Just to be very clear about that.
I want to address the comment that's on this screen, if y'all
Yeah, you do.
allow me. If you were ready for nationhood, we would know how to come together, confess, and discuss and evaluate many different perspectives and interests without resorting to name calling and disrespect. Train. I agree with you. And at one point, no point in this conversation has anybody called anyone a name or disrespected them. What I said was an objective fact. If you're saying that we can train soldiers inside of America to fight against America, that is fucking ridiculous. I did not say you're ridiculous. I didn't say that you're a bad person. I didn't disrespect you. I disrespected that concept. That concept is retarded.
And you say train. Here's the thing: we've given so many live streams about making the case for Liberia as a nation. We have a whole playlist for that. Black Messiah, you can look. There's a whole playlist. We have a whole playlist dedicated to the Liberian presidential series where you can learn all this stuff. But nobody wants to listen to this, and that's the thing that we're talking about here. Okay, it's one thing to say that the BL we ain't doing this. We are. We've tried. We've done interviews. We've done all that. We've reached out to so many people, but it's got to be up to the people to want to hear and listen to that. Okay, I can be a leader, but if people don't follow me, I can't be a leader. It's just as simple as that. Okay, so that's what we're saying. No, we understand. Oh my God. Okay, at this point, I think you're trolling, but
It
I'm just
is.
gonna
It
say
is.
this.
I'm going to say this. It is retarded. It's nonsensical.
Stop.
It makes
Yeah,
absolutely no sense. And if we can't agree on that basic thing, then we're just not going to agree. Period. You cannot form any nation within a nation. You're not going to form a military operation inside of America.
I'm about to say. That's what we're saying. Okay. Now, if you're like what Yukawu said, and you're talking about political education and skills training, yeah, we can do that. We would gladly do that. But like he said, training that doesn't make sense because we're not saying we can't understand the concept. We can easily understand the concept. We say it doesn't make sense because
It doesn't
how
make sense.
how exactly are you going to carry it out? How
Right.
exactly are you going to carry it out?
What are
That's
the
why it doesn't make sense.
logistics? What are the
How you gonna do it?
logistics? Right. What are the logistics of forming a military operation inside of America so you can fight against the American government?
In the Black Messiah, there's nothing wrong with giving new ideas. We have new ideas here all the time. But what we think of, if we give an idea, and I've had this many times, I'll give Holland and Umoja a something. I'll say like our nation state should probably do this. Well, what are the costs and benefits of us doing this? We all come together, we analyze everything, we look at everything from all these different points of view, and then say this is the way to go. If we're telling you, okay, you present this idea, and we're telling you why it's not feasible to do that idea or the cost outweigh the benefit, then it's time to go to a new idea and discard that idea. It would be like me saying this. We should establish our nation state in the Central African Republic, South Sudan, or the Democratic Republic of Congo. Everybody on planet Earth in the BIO would look at me saying that makes no sense. That's crazy. And they would tell me, and then I see, okay, now it makes sense. That's what we're saying.
Can I ask the question, Jabari?
Yes.
Were the Panthers ultimately successful in the sense in every sense of what the term successful means?
No.
No.
The
Was
Panthers, if the
the
Panthers were
FOI
successful, no,
with Garvey?
no, none of them
Now,
were.
does this mean that they were bad? Does this mean that we don't look at
No,
those people for inspiration? Those are our heroes. Those are our ancestors.
but they
But
weren't successful.
let's not fool ourselves. Listen, if ancient Egypt was the shit, why isn't it the shit now?
Also, if the Black Panthers were it, they'd still be an organization. They went dormant. They dissolved in the 1980s. That was 40 years ago. Most of us have no memory of the Black Panthers. We don't know what it was like. Hollett maybe does, but you ask me or Umoja, we got no concept because what they went away in the 80s before we could really conceptualize them.
So
It's the same.
what is this
Yeah.
about? Is it about worshiping the past or is it about learning from the past and mapping out a new future?
Now you talking, Mr. Hollip. Now you talking, sir. And that's the point about earlier in this conversation when I mentioned that we're people who have vision. We're people who are progressive thinkers. And this is what we've done. We've seen what we've done. Why the hell keep doing it, man? We literally been trying to do the same thing since the 60s. And the baby steps that we're taking are so small that they're invisible considering how fast the world is just lapping us, right? Yet we still want to keep doing these same things over and over and over. In psychology, there's a saying, in insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Black people, when we gonna do something different?
Yo, Yamoja, here's
Sir.
something that I think that you can appreciate. Amos Wilson didn't come up with the idea of the BAIO. You know that, right? Like he didn't create the
Exactly.
Black African Infrastructure Organization. So then why do we exist? Well, we know, and you know, right now we're
Yeah.
doing an analysis of his entire book.
Yeah.
He's one of our heroes. Why?
He's basically the
Because
brand.
we
Yes.
took the principles of what he talked about, and then we went forward with it.
Exactly. Perfect example. And you know I appreciate it. Perfect example.
And
And that,
also and oh my bad, I'm sorry, boys. I'm sorry for
no,
interrupting.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say the past should motivate you. When I see what happened to Garvey in his Back to Africa move, it doesn't make me think, oh, that's not. It motivates me to say, I want to do what my ancestors were unable to do. I want to see their dream come true. I want to see Liberia be the country that it was supposed to be because that's what motivates me. That's what you should look at. I was talking to a Liberian about Liberian history. And one of the things I talked about was, yeah, there was stuff that the Americans did or the Congo people did is wrong, but it motivates me to do better. I don't look at it like, man, this was a failure, so this is why we can't do. No, you look at it and say, I want to do better. This motivates me to do it even more.
Yeah.
If your whole principle is whether or not something in the past failed or succeeded, based on that, it's invalidated because a great argument could be the Confederacy lost the war, and yet Confederate monuments are all over the place in America, despite the fact that the Confederacy literally lost.
Yeah, well, let's bring it down to layman's terms. Your football team didn't win the Super Bowl, so y'all guys didn't tear down the stadium and disband the team. We don't even have to go political. Let's go sports. Your team lost. They didn't win the championship. What do? You regroup and you go about going for the championship next year. How come you can understand it in something as trivial as a fucking football game, but you don't understand it when it comes to nationhood? I just want to throw a bone to Black Messiah because I honestly feel, just reading the vibe, that he's not a troll. I really do. I don't feel that he's a troll. What I will say is this: do you think that it's productive for people who claim that they're about nationhood, two different people who say that they're about the same thing, to be having this conversation, this to have this this contentious back and forth? Do you think that this is productive? There's so few people that are for the concept of land, infrastructure, nationhood. Shouldn't we be? You know what the Black Messiah should be doing? He should be like, wow, these guys are for land, infrastructure, nationhood. Who the fuck are they? Let me sign up to their group and get down with them. Why are we going back and forth over strategies and tactics in an open forum and being contentious with one another if we agree with the same damn thing?
My whole caveat, the thing that got me with the Black Messiah, he said I'm not against repatriation. Then what are you trying to say? Like, what are you trying to say? I think I should have asked, how do you define nation? What do you mean? Are you talking about a physical piece within the United States? Are you talking about the concept of nationhood? That Black people in America should realize that we are a common nation, and that we hold a unifying identity, a way of self-determination, and then should migrate or repatriate to the continent.
That's a
Is
good
that
conversation. Like,
that
that's
that
a good question. That's a good conversation. But I'm even going to include that. The fact that he can have that conversation with us says volumes, because who else can you have that conversation with when nobody's talking about it?
true?
This is my point. There's no reason for there to be the contention amongst people that's about nationhood, because and Jabari can confirm this. When we have our internal meetings, we have a lot of back and forths over strategies and tactics. We don't all agree, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't all agree. But the thing is, we are all in the same forum and we're amongst each other. Why? Because we're people of like mind. I don't like this. I don't like this contentious back and forth with other people who believe in nationhood, because it seems like it almost feels like a dick measuring contest. And I'm not interested in that. I'm not trying to be the most intelligent dude or the guy who can break down, or Mr. LIN or Mr. Nationhood. I'm trying to get people of like mind to work together. The only bone of contention with us is this whole doing a nation, having a base of operations. And let me be very specific and clear with what I'm saying. A base of operations, a socio-economic and political base of operations, cannot be within the borders of the United States of America. If we can't agree on that, then we're not about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're talking about a satellite community, I agree. Listen, we establish Liberia as our nation state and we get Liberia up and running. Don't you realize that Black people here in America could have a direct line of trade with Liberia? Do you know how many entrepreneurs that's going to create in America?
Or the fact that you can create a business districts in Liberia, so that gives space for Black entrepreneurs because they'll be in an environment to grow. That's what we're talking about. And
And
we were just talking about dual citizenship earlier in this live stream. You can be a dual citizen. We're not saying there's a thing called dual citizenship. You can be both Liberian and American. You know that, right? It's not an either or thing.
and listen, this what he says here makes perfect sense. On my side, I just want to make sure that we understand that we just can't focus on B. We must focus on A. But sir, we're not just focusing on B. We're focusing on A through Z.
Yeah,
And if
and
you're
you're right.
around us, if you are around us, and if you become a part of us and be around us and hear the conversation that we're, nobody is leaving anything out.
Yeah, I'm about to say we talk about the transition. We talk about the need of making sure that we give people incentives. We talk about this, discussing with groups on the ground in the
That's
country. We talk about
that's
this stuff.
that statement is one of the statements that would always trigger me back when I was even on some do it right here. I'm serious. Because my do it right here always consisted of us actually doing it. And I would always get, well, we can do both. We can like have ask for grants and everything else, and then we could, and I'm like, yes. However, I don't see the both. We like to say that we can do both,
Right.
but the part about us actually doing it ourselves is always on the back burner. So don't say that we can do both when really all you want to do is the one. That triggers me so much because I look at what people do. I look at the behavior, right? Either individually or collectively. And when I see that is some bullshit, I'm gonna call it as such, man. And we are not doing both. By and large, people are mostly on some do it right here or don't do it at all mess. When you talk about nationhood and actually, I want us to organize, man. I want us to organize like to a teeth, and that's the reason why it's not being done right here. I gave the example of all these different organizations. Just tell me when do they all have an annual get together to talk about one shared vision? Just one, even if it is, let's get black schools. Let's get our own organized policing efforts in every black concentrated area in highly black populated cities, even if it's anything. When does it happen? This is just a gross lack of organization, man. It cannot even. We can stay on nation within a nation. It's never gonna happen without proper organization, and we are not. You have different, like I talked about the RBG groups and Black Panther groups. Man, they got Black Panther, they got Black Party, Liberation Party, they got the New Black Panthers, they got all these different factions of the same thing, and none of them are doing anything together. That's just one example, man. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how hard we be working to get nowhere. Straight up, man. We
My
got to be
mind,
serious about the reality of it.
my mind works in a different way, and I think Jabari could probably relate to this because he's in school and he's doing a lot of this organizing and working together in projects. Um, I have to have a base in which we organize. Like when we do a production, the first thing we do is we get all the components of that production together in a meeting. We have a production meeting. You know, it's just not all right. This is the idea for the movie. All of y'all just go out and do whatever the hell you want to do, which is what I see the nation within the nation people proposing. A bunch of individuals just going out on the field, no practice, no preparation, and we're going to play against professional teams. That doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't you at least have a base of operations so you can organize and so you should come up with a game plan before you start attacking? Because first of all, unless you do that, technically you don't even have a team. A team is an organized body. It's not a bunch of individuals doing their own thing.
Uh, let me answer Black Messiah's and Flame's question. It's not we don't have everything figured out, but one of the key things about because I have a book, I have a book called the Student Leadership Challenge. I got this book when I was vice president of the American Society, when I was vice president of the American Society of Civil Engineers. at my school's chapter. One of the things that they said in the book, they say the first one, you can read it in any order, but it said commitment 1, clarify values, and it says find your voice, affirm shared values, reflect, and then act. Okay? Then they say commitment number 3, envision the future. Imagine the possibilities, find a common purpose, reflect, and act. And then the last 2 I will get is commitment number 6, experiment and take risks. Generate small wins, learn from experience, reflect, and act. Last one is commitment number 8, strengthen others, enhance self-determination, develop competence and confidence. They're not the same thing. We've talked about this, but I wanted to bring those points to you. And when it comes to why we take a staunch position on outside of America, our base of operation, because we have to clarify our value. That's why I told them specifically Liberia, because we need to be specific. Because one of the things that somebody who may be interested asks us is where to land at. What country are we going to? And if you don't clarify and be specific, you create a sense of, well, do you really know where you're going? We are willing to make changes to things, but we have to know where we're going. I have to know that I'm going on I-95. I can't be saying I'm going on I-95 when in reality I'm going on I-77. Okay, and that's why it may sound like we're being like sort of stubborn, but we're just very firm on the idea of an African American nation state base of operations in Liberia. We are not opposed to having satellite communities. They're called Little Liberias, and we have an example of that. Liberia was founded. I'm from the state of South Carolina. There's a town in South Carolina called Liberia. There's a town in North Carolina called Liberia. There's a place in Connecticut called Liberia. There's a place in Florida called Liberia. Those were satellite communities, and they were all named after the country Liberia. So we see that microcosm even today from our ancestors 50, 100 years ago. And that's all we're replicating.
Is someone answering? Was that an answer to the I want to join a professional organization? I'm sorry, I was dropping my daughter off.
Yeah, I knew
Yes.
that would trigger you.
Yes. Yes.
I have a question for that. Is Google a professional organization? Is that why you joined them? Is that why you joined YouTube? Because they're a professional organization? I have another question. I want to ask United States Atlantic Creole Nationalists, and I want to ask the Black Messiah. What is a base of operations? Could you type that in the chat room?
Oh, you know what, Holla? Would it be crazy for us to just simply ask Black Messiah to just come on and just explain?
Oh no, I'll send the
Yeah, I'm
link.
about to say, Black Messiah, if you want to come on and elaborate, then we'll let you come on and make your case if you can. So yeah, I was just gonna ask because we're just arguing and there may be a miscommunication. So
Well,
Black
I want
Messiah,
people.
if
Yeah,
you want to
yeah.
get on, get on.
Just put the link in the chat. But I want people to understand that the BIO is theirs to do what needs to be
Yeah,
done with it.
they acting like it's
Like
ours, like it's
seriously,
some
Yeah, I'm about to
like you
say
need a
we're not coming.
decoder ring.
seriously.
Yeah, I'm about to say we're not.
This isn't no top secret. You gotta have clearance and prick your fingers and everything. All you gotta do is be black, man, and be serious about nationhood, man. Oh my goodness, it's
Yeah.
not that serious. And Hollip, you always make a good point. Like, do people join TikToks and because it's a professional ran organization? No, you just do it because it's trending, man.
There you
Let's
go.
be real. You just do it because it's trendy and because you can see cute girls on it or cute boys on it. right? And just have fun. We have fun too. During the lounge conversations, we have lots of fun. We're not just always serious and talking about language and everything. No, we have fun too
Yeah, I'm
because this
about to
stuff
say
is stressful.
we
But
be
listen,
wilding
last point that
sometimes.
yeah, we really do, and y'all crazy. But this the last thing that I want to say on that is that every successful organization from top to bottom, without exception, happens because they're organized. And the more people you have on that said organizing board or organization as a whole, the better. The more people you have working on something, the higher possibility of it actually being successful, y'all. Three or four people is not gonna build a building. You're gonna need a crew of sometime hundreds from different trades, right? Like straight up, man. So don't be like looking for reasons why not to join, looking for reasons of why you don't want to join, because you everybody is not going to turn you on. Every personality is not going to make you happy, just like any organization or any job or any group that you work with. But when you have a shared vision, you push those personalities aside and go off the principle. Put the principle of the organization before the personality or the people or the person. Straight up, like we gotta grow up, man. Gotta grow the hell up. Like everything gotta be perfect. It's gotta be my dream organization or everything for me to join because I'm so special. Ain't nothing happening by yourself. Not when you're thinking for the collective. It's a lot of
I,
selfish people. A lot of people just want to run something. A lot of people want to just be on the front of something. A lot of people want their name on something. Do this for something that's outside of yourself, man. Serious.
that's where my
Gee,
spirit is. My spirit
we
is
don't got time.
if I come across anybody who's talking about what we're talking about, they may not be in the BAIO, but I'm going to be naturally attracted to that type of conversation. Bottom line. I saw
Straight up.
the brother came into the queue and then he left the queue. So I'm waiting for him to come back. I wanted to address Spirit Lifter because I did say we had to move past her comment to get involved in this conversation. But she asked, what can we do to bring more people into the BAIO? You want to hold? We want to feel that one.
I will say that I would say that the thing that has to happen is, and this is me personally, one is reaching out to people. Just reach out to people and have conversations. If you know people are interested, like an example would be how I got Liberia, some Liberian YouTubers to join the BL. Simple. They were talking about Liberia. Our goals matched up, and sent them the link, and they signed up. You can also host little mini events if you want to. We have different chapters. So let's say you are in South Carolina or North Carolina. You can meet like-minded people in your state, and you can host get-togethers. You can host reading groups. Okay, but just keep advocating and keep pushing it, because there are a lot of people that I've spoken to individually, even if they may not sign up, who agree or share similar sentiments with what we do. We just have to make sure that we're engaging, and we're also engaging in a way that is productive but also relaxing in a way. Like Hala said, we're not like this 24/7, because it's not realistic. You need time for the members to relax, to get together, to have fun, but also have those political education. And that's why I do the Liberian presidential series, and I do the BL News, because I want to give you guys the tool. So when somebody asks you about the history of Liberia, you can, I could be like holla and just send you a video, and they just gotta watch this video, and then boom, they got the information.
I think I think that there's going to be a really good spike when we go as a group to Liberia next year, because I think a lot of people want to show and prove. I know when I first like the year that I came into the organization, y'all was going to Rwanda, and I was just so envious, man. I had a real righteous envy about not being able to go, because by the time I came, I wasn't ready at all. But but I was already here anyway. But now that we got the focus on Liberia, I think that when we go next year, I think that's gonna get people to really be like, okay, because we're gonna get more connections. Like before I came to the BAIO, I didn't even have a passport. I'm headed to Tanzania in less than a month now. You know,
There
because
you go.
my focus immediately went to like, I gotta get there. I gotta get there now, right? Like straight up. And I was gonna go to South Africa first. I got a visa for Ghana. That's for 5 years. And then one of the brothers from the BAIO was going to one of the brothers from the BAIO was going to Tanzania. And I was like, I'd rather go with someone because I'm not on some Han Solo shit. I'm like, I'm gonna go with one of my brothers from the BAIO to Tanzania. So that's where I'm gonna be at next month on the continent. And I think that will like attract more people as well, because a lot of people used to these organizations just talking and talking and talking and not doing something, you know. So I think that'll help too, especially next year when we go as a nice sized group to the actual place where we want to build it. I think that's going to be stupid powerful, actually.
Yeah. I want to welcome the Black Messiah. He's in the chat
Hey
now.
Saya, what's happening?
Can
What's up,
everybody hear
Black
me?
Messiah? Yo, we
Can
can
you
hear
hear?
you, bro.
All right, all right. How y'all doing, brothers?
We
We
cool.
doing good.
Yo, brother, I want to give you a chance, uninterrupted. We all gonna be muted out and let you speak your piece and give your position because I don't want to misrepresent what you're about.
Very, very short and clear is I'm in the IT field.
Hmm.
So I'm big on intelligence. And I believe when people hear about training, they always jump to war, guns, fighting, killing. But what I'm talking about is the type of training that you would get if you were FBI, the type of training that you would get if you were CIA, the type of training you were getting if you were to get into the job of politics. What I'm basically saying is if we were going to go build a nation from the very jump, and I'm walking at the same time, that's why I'm breathing like this. If we were to build a nation, one of the most important things that we would need is the ability to come together and hash out ideas, go through decision-making processes and procedures without arguments, without naysays. A lot of the things that I've said, I've already done the research to know that they're feasible. Not to assume, not to guess. That would be childish. As a grown man, I wouldn't come around some other grown man dreaming and throwing out just hash ideas. These are things that people in groups that I am associated with have sat down and done the research for over the last 10 years. And there's many ways that we can train and prepare ourselves from nationhood right here and right now. Just simple as fact is saying right now, we could be training ourselves just to conduct kind of like government and policies and procedures. We could be right now training ourselves to when we get over to Liberia, how can we come together in a group, sit down in our seats, like in a House of Congress or the Senate, and know how to sit down, let somebody speak, give somebody the time to explain their ideas without interrupting and everything. That's training we need. Most of the groups and the projects and the things that I've seen that we're trying to get done, it fails because we start arguing. We start attacking. We start getting at each other and shooting everybody's ideas down. So you're telling me we can't prepare for nationhood in America, that we can't train and teach each other how to simply come together and share ideas and go through decision making and policy making procedures. Every time somebody says train, y'all go to this crazy idea that we're talking about, military training, like going to war. Well, no, let's talk about government training, policy making. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to sit down with each other and come up with a plan. You know what I'm saying? To where we're not sitting around here day after day after day talking, and then at the end of this conversation we have no objectives, we have no goals, no agreement has really been established. That's the type of training I'm talking about. In the IT field, I'm not necessarily talking about going to war and shooting people. I'm talking about something that NSA would do, a CIA would do, an FBI would do, an intelligence agency would do. And that's the fundamental, that's the basis of what we're going to need. When we get over there, before we can talk about developing ammunitions and guns, we're going to have to be able to be trained enough to be able to come together and simply organize. And we've shown previously that we're kind of having a hard time doing that in our own communities, even online. Conscious community fell across because it turned into, in the beginning, everybody was sharing knowledge and we were growing and everybody was being fed. And all of a sudden, it's like they ran into this glass ceiling and everybody felt like there was nothing they could do but start attacking another group. Oh, you don't have it right and your God ain't the right one and your ideas ain't the right one. And that's how you feel when you come in and you're trying to share with people who have a certain one-track mind. And then you come in, or I come in from a different field where we study different policies and procedures and strategies. When you're programming and everything, there's a whole bunch of problems. But you look at every problem as an opportunity to come up with some innovative and new procedure, a policy, a course of action, some way to solve it. I come in and you're saying, no, there's things that we can do. And the first thing out of my brother's mouth is, that's impossible. Oh, that's ridiculous. It's not impossible. Marcus Garvey did it. It's not impossible. The Nation of Islam is doing it. It's not impossible. The Black Panthers did it. Oh, they failed. Okay. Well, how many businesses have failed? You failed, you go back to the drawing board. How many times have you seen under new management businesses start up and fail? You can't look and say, oh, they failed. No, well, I might do it better. We might do it better. We have technology, we have techniques, we have knowledge, we have certain things in today's day and age that the Black Panthers in their day and age, like computers, didn't have. So how are you going to just say they failed then that we can't do it now? And that's all I'm coming at. Like, stop shooting down ideas because you haven't even heard what I'm coming for. And I got 10 plus years in this field. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not no fool coming in here and saying, man, I'm smoking this weed. I got this idea. No, I know what the hell I'm talking about. Don't shoot me down. Hear me out. And that's basically all I'm saying.
Yo, brother, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
This is going to be funny to you. I'm going to take what you just said and make a BAIO commercial off of it.
What you mean?
Because you basically just gave us a commercial right there. Everything that you said is what the BAIO is.
I'm about to say, like, when he actually said,
I can't even argue with him.
I'm about to say everything he said, like, is what, like, we agree with. Like, when he said it, I was like, okay, now we're on the same page.
Thank you. Thank you. I have no counter to anything that you just said.
But that's the only position, that's the only place I'm always coming from. And I'm trying to get into a lot of these groups and get with people who are really talking about nationhood. And it's like they always shoot me down and tear me down. Oh, you coming with these crazy ideas? And it's like, damn, you guys are hurting my feelings, bro. I'm really about this. I'm really about this. And like every time I try to come to talk to people,
well,
it's like,
you know what? I issue a personal apology to you if I felt that you was against what we about.
Yeah. I'm about to say, I thought
is about everything that you just said is what we about.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I thought he was on some other stuff against nationhood or going to the continent. But then when I heard what he said, I'm like, he's saying everything that we're just saying, just in a different way.
Real talk.
That's why it's good to, like, and one thing that we'll say, we will give you a chance to speak, because I don't want to straw man nobody. I don't want to straw man anybody's position. So you stated what you're about, and I agree 1,000% Like I said, this is going to be clipped. I'm gonna clip what he just said, and that's gonna be on my channel.
And when people talk about the training over here, I just wanted to make that clear. It's like what basically, like, reiterating what I was saying. Like, we come over to, let's say we just say forget America, we go to Africa. We're still the same people with the same minds and the same education as far as how we conduct business with each other. We're going to be over there in Africa yelling and arguing and debating, and we're going to end up tearing each other down, just like, because we ain't training over here. Like, let's prepare ourselves.
Can I say something to you, big bro?
Yeah.
I think now when you say training, I was the one who had said, like, we have training from watching our ancestors die, from voting and all this other stuff. And so when you talk about IT training, when you talk about Secret Service training, there's several of Black men and women who have vast knowledge and vast education and vast experience in all of these. The trick here is, how do we flip them to having a nationhood mindset? Because this system is built as such. They will allow some of these brothers and sisters to come in here, but you work for us. You ain't on no black shit. We're going to use you to infiltrate the Panthers. We're going to use you to infiltrate NOI. We're going to use you to infiltrate Black Lives Matter or any kind of group that's actually trying to get Black people to have some semblance of power, not equality, not just a seat at the table. But if you're trying to create your own table, no, we're going to use your own kind against you. So I'll say that, and then back to the professional organizations. Hundreds and thousands of Black people in all of these professions, from medical to education, yet they're not on some nationhood. Let's use this to make our own. So that's the issue that we as the BIO have. We don't have a lack of resources, from capital to human resources. We have a lack of give a fuck. Not enough of us who are in position to help care about this. They're totally okay with let's just get along, go along and get along, long as I have mine. And that's the issue that we see and have, bro. Like straight up. But we are with you. Like that is literally what we talk about. You can go back in the archives and see videos that all we did was a whole video on IT and STEM. Literally. Like that is exactly where we at. But how do we get these people not to just be like, wait, I see all the benefits of getting in the STEM field and making 6 figures of year with great insurance, and my family is straight. Why would I care about trying to build up Africa from the ground up? Why would I care about that when the
I'm
system
about
has me taken care of here?
Right.
Yeah, and I want to say, yeah, my bad or my apology for calling you a troll. I'm sorry for saying if I called you a troll because we've had some people on the channel comment and they make stuff like
Yeah,
similar, like yeah,
we're unfortunately, see, this is the problem, Jabari, because we are, and I apologize to the Messiah. We deal with trolls a lot, and it puts us on a defensive. So what, like when somebody comes in and they're like challenging our basic premises, we automatically think, okay, here we go, and we get
yeah.
into defense mode. So I apologize for that, because, and that's why I'm glad you came on and got a chance to actually say what you thought, because as you can tell, you're not in disagreement with us.
Right.
Because I agree with everything that you said, like what you said with training. Because when you brought up with Garvey and how he did it, it reminds me of when you like when you study Garvey about, yeah, he wanted to go back to Africa, but he had Black Cross nurses, he had the African Legion, he had
Right.
all this stuff already in place so
Right.
that
Right.
he could send his representatives. He had the surveyor, he had everything in line, and like I said, I agree with what you're saying because we need to have an organization. We got to have the immigration, to help African Americans when they get over there to get acclimatized. You can't just send over people and then they don't have sort of an organization that puts those social capital into. So I absolutely agree with everything that you're saying.
But that's all I wanted to get across. Now I didn't. Rather than that, I was just listening. But that every time I try to talk to brothers and sisters, that's really all I'm coming from. Is I just see that there is things that we can structure here, and it's like people are real against any type of talk about us doing anything here before we go there. And it's like I don't see. It's like earlier I made a statement about how when we have plans to go to war, military has plans to go to war, they first train. They prepare, they teach them the procedures, the routes, the way how to work together as a unit, and then they send them into the battlefield. To me, it's like we're doing nation. We want to go to Liberia, and that's our battlefield. That's ground zero for us building our new nation. But we ain't setting up nothing, structuring nothing up over here to kind of prepare us and organize us and get it structured in a way to when we get over there, we can get right to work and know what we're doing rather than get over there and then look at each other like, what the hell do we do now? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get where people say we can't prepare and train and get ourselves ready here before we go. We just
But
supposed to,
you do realize that's not what we're saying, though.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
In a
Yeah,
degree,
I'm
because
about to say,
Yeah.
yeah, my
but
bad.
I'm gonna say that yeah, I understand what you guys are saying, but at the same time, just you understand what I'm saying. Like there is a lot. For instance, we're gonna go over there and we're gonna colonize some land. We're gonna get some land and we're gonna build, right? Why do people have the perception that we can't kind of prepare ourselves for that by buying some land out in Kansas, buying some land out in Las Vegas or something, and just kind of seeing what it takes, seeing how we do with acquiring new land and seeing if we actually have the ability and the maturity and the professionalism to come together with nothing but green land, nothing but land from ground zero, and see if we actually can do this like a practice run. Can we build a small master plan community? Can we pool our resources? Because over here we have everything set up, the infrastructure, electricity, everything. Like, can we at least have a little demonstration that a group of a BIO that we could actually take brothers and sisters with this organization, acquire some land, and within a reasonable amount of time, a 5-year plan, have built something solid upon that land, just like a practice run. Like, why would that be something that we would be like, that's crazy. The black people would tell. No, they wouldn't. Because I've already seen all over the place in Las Vegas and out here in Kansas where black people have bought land and built small little town and homesteads and communities on it. And you get this perception when you tell that to people, oh, the white folk ain't gonna let you do that. Oh, Black Wall Street. No, it's a whole nother day, man. It's just how you operate. There's the way how you conduct yourself, how you know what I'm saying? It's just Like, don't shoot every idea down, because some of the stuff that people are presenting might be things that you're not seeing. And it takes all of us. All of our collective perspectives is when we're going to get that clear picture. It ain't going to be one person's perspective, because if you guys had the full picture, you wouldn't have complaints about not being able to get people to join, not getting able to get people to adopt nationhood. If you had it all figured out, this would not be a problem. You'd have that figured out. So you need to still, until you got everything working perfectly, the members that you got right now obviously don't have every solution, every expertise, every skill trade that you need to be successful, because you're having problems. And that means you guys yourselves, at least at this moment in time, at this point in time, you don't have the solutions. And those solutions might be in other people like me who are coming forth and might talk from a different, jargon than y'all. I might talk IT, where y'all might talk politics and government or whatever, or sociology or chemistry, or whatever it may be. And we need all of that. We need all of our great minds collectively working together, and contributing whatever we have to make it happen. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, we get what you're saying.
All right, brothers. I appreciate y'all for hearing me out. I'm gonna keep on listening and stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and get off.
All right, man.
All right,
All right, thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
joining.
bless.
Who else is on there? Spirit Lifter.
No, Jabari and Umoja and me.
Okay, I thought it was somebody else.
Yeah, I'm glad he came on, because
Yeah,
he's not a troll. So
yeah, he was coming genuinely. I thought it was
Mhm.
something else, but I
And I
I
was
agree
getting
with
that
most of what he said.
feeling. I was
Yeah,
getting that feeling when I saw what he was typing, because it wasn't belligerent. It was just I think a miscommunication about what we're saying in regard, because like I said, it's nothing. Everything that he said would be like a BAIO commercial.
yeah.
That's what we're doing. The only thing that we're suggesting is it would
Inve-
be great if these people would come into the same organization or the same network of people that's actually saying the same thing that they're saying. It's just too much of this. Our forces are dissipated. And I think that's the biggest problem. Like, everybody has this, they talk about, yeah, we got to get together, but then it's such a big deal to sign up to a free website. I don't get that. That I don't understand, and I never will understand, because we're signed up to YouTube, we're signed up to Twitter, we're signed up to Facebook, we're signed up to TikTok, we're signed up to Instagram and all the rest of this stuff. Why
Snapchat.
can't you sign up to the BAIO and be around people who are talking about the things that you say you're interested in? This is not. That's a no-brainer to me. What do we have to sell? you know I got to sell you on that. If we got to sell and do a hard pitch for something as easy as that, that's a problem. So what I would encourage Black Messiah to do is to join the BAIO. I would consider, anybody who is down for this nationhood discussion, but you may have a different tactic or a different strategy. Why should that stop you from joining the BAIO? Because, like I said, we talk about strategies and tactics every Sunday.
And also, I would like to add, after listening to him, we can do both. Although, like I said, we primarily focus on nation building on the continent. You can still have a satellite. The BIL, we could build a satellite community in America while also concentrating on Liberia. It's not an either or. It's not we put all our eggs in, like, we're just gonna go all in on Liberia and we're just gonna completely forget. That's not gonna happen. We're gonna be focused on Liberia and we're gonna try to get African Americans as many to come there, but we can also focus on building satellite communities in America and also in other countries, because you got Black African American expats in Paris. So we could build a satellite community in Paris.
I am so pro. I am so pro satellite community in America. It's just that nobody listens to me. Nobody actually hears what I'm saying. I did a video talking about, if you really want to do something in America, we have a Black bank called One United Bank. That's the biggest Black bank in America. Why aren't you pooling resources into this bank? Why aren't you forcing your celebrities and your entertainers and your athletes to put their money into the one Black bank? I would love to do it right. I would love if we wanted to establish some type of satellite community in America. I would love it. I would love it if we were to do it right here in America. I would love it. I wouldn't be against it. But our point is perpetually the same thing. People keep talking about it, but ain't nobody doing nothing about it. How are you pooling together the resources of these 50 million black people here in this country? You have a black bank. Why is your money still in Chase? Why is it still in Citibank? Why is it in Bank of America? Why is it in TD Bank? And why am I not hearing this as a broad mainstream message amongst the black talking heads, amongst our collective culture? Nobody's even talking about it. And these are the same people that's telling us that we can do it right here. When you going to start doing it? That's my question.
Yeah, I'm about to
Because
say everything.
I don't think anybody in the BAIO would be against anything. There's been plenty of things that's going on inside of this country that we've shed a spotlight on.
You know what? You know what I was thinking about that when he was speaking, when Black Messiah was speaking. I'm thinking if this is what the Captain America, Black Power American, that's what they need to be doing. Why aren't they doing exactly what Black Messiah is
Right.
saying?
Right. They should be listening to him. They should be listening to Killer Mike. I always use Killer Mike because Killer Mike is on some real we can do it right here. He's trying to implement. He was the one who started shouting the alarm about the One United Black Bank. He's serious. I can take him seriously. I don't take these other people seriously. I take the Black Messiah seriously. I believe he's genuine. But I don't take these other people seriously. They're not about doing it right here. They're about making excuses and fighting against us. And that's the reason why we get so defensive when these people come against us online. It's a problem, I understand, because when you're used to getting attacked, you're always going to have your defenses up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good thing that we were able to see past that and let the brother get on and explain himself.
And
But
like I
what I
said,
would, what,
And
I'm
like we
sorry, go ahead.
said, if you, we will allow you to come on and speak. We did that with Cece. I think a Sunday ago. If you got something to say, and we will send you the link, but we want you to come on. We're not gonna allow you to keep saying what you're saying, and then when we give you the link, you don't show up. As long as you show up, you give what you say, we'll be glad to let you on and give you a platform to say what you gotta say.
I'm
If
giving
you
that
got to disagree,
platform to the United States Atlantic Creole Nationalists. The link is in the chat room. Please come on and you can have the same opportunity that we gave the Black Messiah. Nobody's running away from anybody. Trust me. So I'll be waiting for you to come into the queue so I can bring you on. Take that link, copy, paste it, come into the chat room, and we can have a discussion. Just as long as it's a mature discussion. And like I said, I gave him plenty of opportunity to talk. I'm going to do the same thing for you. We will mute all of our mics and let you speak your speak, say what you got to say, and then we'll respond afterwards. And we'll have a dialogue. The chat room shenanigans. I mean, that was a perfect example of why it's wrong. Like doing this chat stuff doesn't work. Get on if you have a difference of opinion. Get on the show and express it, and then we can go back and forth.
because I misinterpreted what Black Messiah said completely different.
Right.
I thought it was on some do it right here. You know why we trying to do this, and then come to find out, nah, we were pretty much on the same page.
Exactly. It's like people look at it's like I compare like people like him and us and other people who come into the chat room who are sincere.
Mm-hmm.
We're all looking at a diamond, but we're on other sides of the diamond. Like I'm on one side looking at the diamond, he's on the other side. They got like we're all looking at the same goddamn thing, but we're seeing it from different perspectives. There's
United States
nothing wrong with that.
United States Creole nationalists, please get on, or we might have to block you.
Yeah, don't oh, now he's leaving.
That's all I'm about to say. That's why I said like we not we not doing that. Okay, if you got a difference of opinion, you was all up in this chat.
All
Please
right,
get
bro.
on.
Love you too, bro. I ain't got no hate for you. If you're saying it in love, we love you too. But next time, forget the chat room stuff. Come on the line. If you say
Please
just
do.
come in the chat
Please.
room and say, "Yo, send me the link so I can jump on," and we'll let you jump on.
Please do.
All right. Well, is there anything else anybody wants to ask? We got
Yeah,
about eight more minutes.
yeah.
Any other questions?
Any other questions, concerns, what we got planned? Okay, so I found out what my I found out for me when I'm going to officially finish college. So I'm going to make. We can now start planning the trip and make it set in stone.
Oh,
Because I think
okay.
yeah. So
What's
now
the date?
so it's May 14th. So the trip will be maybe a day or two afterwards. So the 16th or 17th will be the set in stone dates that we're going to um start when we start leaving and heading over there, and we're probably going to stay till the 20th. Y'all want to say 7 or 10 days because
10
that's
days. 10
okay.
days.
Yeah, so we'll be there till the 27th. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing, and I just got to get everything finalized. So I'm going to be doing
So
all that.
tentatively, it's the 16th to the 27th.
That's 11 days. It might
Wait,
be
no,
16th or
the
17th.
26th.
Yeah, we can do that. 16th to the 26th.
Okay, May 16th to May 26th,
Yeah.
tentatively. That's a
Hmm.
Tuesday. So it's probably going to either be a Tuesday or a Wednesday because that's probably the best time to travel.
Yeah.
And we'll be coming back on either Friday. Let's see, 16, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, the 25th is a Thursday.
Hmm.
So if we do the 16th to the 25th, that's 10 days. Or if it's the 17th to the 26th, that's 10 days. So it's going to be one of those two.
Hmm.
I probably think probably best to come back on a Thursday because that's less nonsense.
All right, we can do that. We can leave on a
So
Thursday.
the 16th to the 25th. 16th to the 25th, y'all. And Spirit Lifters is still in the chat room. I hope we answered your question in terms of I know I can speak for myself. I'm very particular about who gets into the BAIO. So what I do is I have my own personal vetting system and I try to figure out where this person is coming from. And if I see that they're genuine, I send them the link
Hmm.
and tell them to join up. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
Because we just don't want any and everybody coming in, bringing their toxic energy into this circle because we've tried so hard to make this a productive place to be. So let me post that so people can see it. So that's going to be May 16th to the 25th,
Hmm.
2022.
Please, y'all. Please, if you can, start working on that immediately because everybody who comes, you're gonna have to have a visa. So please, that's why I wanted to start doing this stuff now because if you're gonna come, you need to have your visa ready. You have to have your yellow fever shot. That is a requirement in order to get the visa. So please, y'all, if you can, please start working on this stuff now. Or if you've already got it done, you can of course wait till maybe March or May.
What's the
But I just
shakedown? What's the shakedown cost for the yellow fever shot? Because you know this, if you're doing it in America, they're gonna shake you down.
oh yeah, definitely yellow fever. Yellow fever here is gonna cost about 150 to as much as 350.
Think
It's
about that,
usually
y'all.
like
Think about that.
that's why I said please get like if you're gonna come with us, please
These
start now.
motherfuckers, man. These motherfuckers, man. I can't wait until we get our own shit. These motherfucking rip-off artists. $150 to $300 for a shot. You might as well just bend me over. Just go to town.
Hmm.
Like, come on, man. So I put the date up there. So if
Yeah, that
anybody
that's
looks at the
yeah.
thing, May
Mhm.
16th to May 25th, 2022. Let me actually put that in a group as well. I'll put that in our signal group. Any questions, anybody?
Let's say any questions, anything y'all would like to say, please let us know. Um, Also ask us if there's any places you might want to see in Liberia that you would want us to be in particular, because there are a lot of places to go, or a lot of natural sites, nature sites like the Gola Rainforest or the Sapo National Park. If these are places you want to see, let us know so that we can start preparing for this stuff now, or that I can start getting into contact with people who can help us do that.
You want to feel that, Jabari?
Yeah, is the BIO open for branch extension in the Gambia? If so, what steps should someone take? Um,
First,
there is,
join.
yeah, you got to join, and then they'll say one in the Gambia, and then you can just pass the link on to other folks in the Gambia, and then we can, you can, we can get you started.
Yeah, the Gambia is in the BAIO, the group for the Gambia. So you would join the BAIO, join the Gambia group, and then you can start connecting with other people from the Gambia and introducing them to the BAIO, and then you can form a chapter right in the Gambia. It's we're pretty much proactive. Like there's nobody giving marching
Orders.
orders.
Yeah,
You
we
know what I'm
don't.
saying? You can take you can be in the Gambia and set up a whole BAIO chapter. No one's policing you. As long as it's about the principles of land, infrastructure, nationhood, we're good.
Hmm.
Oh,
And
Ja, I
then,
just posted. We actually addressed that earlier, but I'll post
yes,
it.
the video and
If you,
the
yeah, I'll post the video. I'll go back and post it because I was just away from it. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, we talked about that early. Let's see.
I love his avatar, Black at Your Production. I love that avatar.
Oh, that's a brother.
Yep. Well,
BAIO News, Liberia eases dual citizenship. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Bear with me, y'all. I'm getting ready to post this link. I have to go back to get it. This is for Ja. Here you go, Ja. Boom. Can y'all see that?
yeah.
Can
So
y'all see
watch
the
that
link?
video. Yeah, I see the link. So just watch that video, and then I go through the caveats and all of that, what it means, the opposition and all that. So I go in depth with that. He says, "Do you believe any skills, jobs, businesses, or trades are not valuable in this collective recivilization process?" He was talking about in the Pan Africanist communities. I think the biggest things that are not respected, I would say, are not valued, is science. It's really STEM. I mean, really, that's really the thing. It's STEM. A lot it's a lot of pseudoscience. It's not actual science. These are not actual engineers, actual nurses, actual mathematicians. These are people who quote unquote claim to be about the sciences, but they're really not actual science or in the STEM field.
Right.
I'll let you give your
Oh,
final
I
take.
just noticed you don't have your Liberia avatar up. I just it's like what
I have
happened?
I have my Liberia avatar.
Oh, I'm just seeing a blank.
Oh, on mine it's BL Liberia, so I see my Liberia avatar.
Oh, on the screen you said? Because I don't.
Yeah, on the screen, even on YouTube, I can see my BL Liberia.
That is weird. How come I don't see that?
Oh, Yeah, I don't know what's up actually, because I just went on YouTube and mine is completely blank. I don't know what just happened. Oh, it's been that way the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't notice though.
Yeah, I didn't notice either. I
Mhm.
thought I thought mine was there, but
Yeah,
it didn't
it's
show
cool.
up.
It's cool.
And,
But
and
yeah,
Richard Dixon and Richard Dixon agrees. Skilled trades and engineers. I agree. Too much pseudoscience for sure.
Richard
Exactly.
Dixon, what's up, bro? What is up? I haven't seen that name in a bit. Yeah. All right, y'all. So if
Yeah. And the
nobody
last
has any other
yeah.
questions, go ahead, Jabbar.
Yeah, if there's no other questions, the last thing I would say is I'm gonna try to do more videos, get you guys catched up. Also, I'm gonna do more historical videos so that you can have more historical context. Make sure if you are signed up to the BL website, you sign up to the lounge, so that you can join these conversations that we have at night because they'd be fun, they'd be exciting. It's definitely someplace where you want to be. Make sure you sign up to the website, please, please sign up to the website because the more of y'all sign up to the website, the more we can do things, the more we can organize and really come together. And
Yeah, let's sign up to the website and then we can fight inside of the BAIO. I'm
yeah,
always willing to have a good fight with the people of the BAIO because I love y'all dudes and I would go back and forth with y'all any day of the week rather than going into a battle against Negroes. So if you believe in land infrastructure nationhood, if you believe that black people should have something of their own, sign up to the BAIO website. If you look at the screen, it's scrolling down there at the bottom. The website's there. Register with us. And there's no excuse for not registering with us. If you don't register with us, I'm going to assume that you're full of shit. I'm
and
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just assuming that
yes,
you're full of shit. Sign up with the BAIO website, baioafricstan.org/register. Register with our group. Don't be um on the surrounding us and all around us, but not with us. And when I
mm-hmm,
say us, I don't mean us as the people currently in the BIO. I mean us as black people coming together. Because it
mm-hmm,
doesn't just belong for us. And nobody's gonna ask you for money. Like Black Action Productions said, the site's free. We don't require membership. The only thing we require is your time and your energy.
And I will respond to this last question by Yoku. He says, "Do you think we should start adding trades and seeing certificates to ourselves, push or young to learn them, or both?" Yes, like I said, that's one of the things that we in the conscious community don't tend to value is we need to add up those certifications, those degrees, the research because that increases your human capital. And as we're heading into a futuristic society, you talk about this Amos Wilson where we're going into a future where increasingly it's going to be less on labor and more on capital, human capital and innovation. So now it's about how much are you creating, and that requires human capital. So yes, we need to get as much certifications as you can get, certifications, degrees, research, interns, job experience, so that you can get that human capital and we can innovate and really become a powerhouse because we said what you said earlier, STEM is not valued, or STEAM are not valued the most out of everything. And I will also say that um, economics is not valued. We don't value economists. We don't value
Right,
consultants. We don't
right,
value financial analysts. People who that's their living. They study the economy. They research the economy. We don't value them.
right.
And last thing Richard Dixon said, right, that is why I'm not talking as much and focused on my studies exactly. And that's why I'm in school right now, focused on going even further because we need the education and degrees matters most, not the talking. Are you qualified? Remember, confident is what you think you know. Competence is how good you really are. And we need more people to be competent.
And I just want to say one last thing before we sign off. The BAIO gained the most membership when we had weekly shows. When we had a finance and economics show with Brother Thomas. We had a STEM show, and we had a sisterhood show, and then we had Minister Dawood with his show, and we had me with my show. We were doing like 4 to 5 shows a week. Um, we can still do that, but we need people in order to do that. If anybody out there is willing to dedicate just an hour of their time per week, just an hour of their time, we can get back to that consistent amount of shows every week, and we can get the word out even faster. So I just want to put that out there. If there's anybody who has a skill set, we need an IT department. You know what I'm saying? We need an administration and clerical department. We need a social media department. We have all of those people, but those people have to dedicate some time. And I'm talking no more than an hour a week. Just 1 hour out of the entire week would be enough time for us. So the first thing you got to do is sign up to the website, because the signing up to the website shows that you're serious. And like a spirit lifter says, that she's willing to be a co-host on the Sisterhood show. And trust me, that's a big deal, because that sister is for real. And she says she's willing to co-host. All we need is a host now. All we need is a host, a sister that wants to be a part of this, that's willing to dedicate 1 hour out of the week to the Sisterhood show. Sisterhoods, Sisters for Nationhood. And on that note, it's been real, people. Thank you. I
Yeah,
didn't know how this was going to turn out, because I thought like, oh shit, I don't have enough to say. But thank you, Jabari, for bailing me out in Umoja.
no problem. I'm usually the one who hosts a live, so I'm always willing to come on and contribute to this. And
No
thank you for
doubt. No
everybody who
doubt.
came here. And thank you,
All right.
Spirit
Peace,
Lifter.
y'all.
Peace.